Kriya Babaji Namo Om Kriya Babaji Namo Om Kriya Babaji Namo Kriya Babaji Namo Om Kriya Babaji Namo.
Welcome to our March 25th live stream here at the Kriya Yoga School. Vedgurudev's Kriya Yoga live Q&A Satsang. That's a pretty big mouthful. So welcome to our member, Veronica. How you doing today, Veronica?
Thrilled. I'm doing great. I'm thrilled to be here for another satsang. So we'll see where the conversation goes.
Outstanding. Yeah, yesterday we had a very profound interview that went
Yes.
for about an hour and 20 minutes, hour 10 minutes. It's very profound, so everybody watching this, keep a lookout for that. It's coming soon.
Yeah. Today I was editing my resume and my cover letter because I put out applications last year, and I would do these amazing interviews, and I wouldn't get hired. They told me I was too qualified, so I downplayed my applications, and I sent out two. And one person, like half an hour later after I sent it, they sent me an email that they're interested. So I just have to go through, do another. They emailed me another application. So
Great.
I don't know. I'm looking for what?
Great.
Yeah, I don't know. This time I'm looking for work where I can make my own schedule. So and I consider the Kriya Yoga School my job too. So I want to have the flexibility that I can be the moderator here and like make my own hours. So I don't know. So it feels like that might be in place. So I'm just making some moves. So I don't know. I'm just want something. I can be a worker bee. I don't need to be in charge this time. So yeah. So I'm just doing. I did that today. So yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best with your job hunting out there.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
listening, somebody please hire Veronica.
Please. And then hopefully someday this will be my permanent job, but I don't know, making some moves. So I don't know. I guess we'll just dive right in. Let me see. Um I don't know. I've been thinking about like really important questions to ask myself. So I'm like, a question I have is, what is God and why do we believe God is real? I have no proof that God's real, but there's something inside me that says that there is God, I just have this feeling that God does exist, and I want to connect to God so bad. And there's no logic to it. It's just like a inner feeling that I want to connect to the source or this thing that I feel like I belong to. I don't know if you could give me some insight on that if you have any.
Yeah, so I will start by I always like in yoga when they say a God defined as a God can find. So like I don't even want to put God in a box. He's
Yeah.
really beyond my comprehension. Like, whoa, trying to describe the source, that's way above my pay grade. So, but I would just say that your soul, your higher self, or your consciousness always has a longing to return back to the source. So that's why like these kind of subliminal buzzwords always affect people. Like let's say freedom, like freedom to go home and be with the source.
Mm.
So when they say freedom, they're basically talking to your subconscious soul, and they could kind of trick you into doing stuff using the underlying freedom word, that your source always wants to be free, and your soul always wants to go home to the source and always wants to be free. So anytime they say freedom, they're basically tricking you. My favorite thing is freedom is not free. Of course it's free. It's freedom,
Yeah.
like freedom. It's free, So they use these kind of words to trick you into doing something you don't want to do, because they know they're speaking to your soul, and your soul always wants to be free, and your soul always wants to go home and reinsert itself to the source, like putting your drop of water back into the ocean of the universe, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they you always kind of look for freedom, but they kind of use this type of thing against you with their, I don't know, psyops and their words to trick your soul. But I would always say, like, I always have this longing to return home and be one with the source, the ultimate oneness. And a lot of people like Paul on other Satsangs would ask me, well, what if you lose your identity? I don't have an identity anyway. I am pure consciousness. I am pure energy. I'm a pure soul. So these are just things that have no meaning to me. I want to return back to the source. And if I have to sacrifice my identity, I'm willing to do that in half a second. So I always have the longing to be with the source. Anytime I hear people talking about the source, I'm always very interested,
Yeah.
because I want to know what the source thinks. I want to know what the source likes. I want to know what uh, mantras the source is, sweet music to the source. So I'm always trying to get tidbits and breadcrumbs and information about the source. So, but yeah, I always have a longing to go home and be with the source.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't explain it. I just feel like that's where I want to be. I have no logic. I just feel like that's where I want to go. So I don't know. And then another question, I already answered my own question, but as I was asking myself, what is my true nature? And it's my consciousness. So I'm just like, is consciousness the only thing that's real here?
Yeah, on Earth, I would say, in yoga they say everything is Maya except consciousness, except yeah, a higher consciousness. I would say is probably the only thing they would say is real. They say everything else is Maya, is all like a screen on the delusion of the world, I would say. So they don't attach to anything, and really they get deep, and they don't even attach to consciousness, because that's trying to identify with something that can't even be identified. So they always say in yoga, neti neti, which is not this, not
Yeah.
this, not this. I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am not anything to do with this world. I don't resonate with anything in this world. In my case, when my guru told me to go back to the physical 3D world, it was a sad time to me, because I didn't want to go back to the physical world. I was tell my guru, like, there are animals down there. They're
Yeah.
monsters. Can I just sleep in this cave?
Yeah.
So I don't want to identify with anything they do. Like, in the Himalayan mountains, we cared nothing about money. We didn't talk about money. We didn't talk about any of these things that people talk about down here in the Maya delusional world. We were mostly doing our inner work. So I didn't want to come back to this world, but he explained to me that it was my job to be in the world but not of the world. So I was supposed to go back to the world and help people as much as I can. Hence, that's why we have the Kriya Yoga School, trying to help as many people as we can, teaching Kriya Yoga and giving them the tools they need to live a better life. But yeah, so I don't feel like I belong in this place. Let's say I'm trying to do the best I can with the tools I got, but it's a war zone. It's a minefield out there every day. Every day I'm like, whew, I'm happy to get home. Man, it's crazy out there, man. Like, wow, you know? I long for my meditation cushion every day. Like, oh, I got to go out in this world. You know, I live in Thailand. They're driving every which way. The traffic rules do not apply in Thailand. They drive their motorcycles this way, that way. It's this total chaos everywhere I go. And, you know, tomorrow I have to go to Bangkok, which is super chaos. I call the highways in Bangkok spaghetti highways because it's just like, it's going every which way. It's so confusing that my GPS doesn't even know which is the right road. So it's like the road's down here, the road's up here, the road's over here. It blows up my GPS. So it's just total chaos. So when I go out in the world, I'm like, I can't wait till my time is done on this 3D world. I'm trying to do as much sadhana to get off this hamster wheel and rejoin Babaji and all the Kriya Yoga Ascended Masters around the campfire. You know, anytime I see that campfire photo, which has Babaji and, you know, Yogananda, Lahiri Messiah, Yukteswar, all the great Kriya Yogi Ascended Masters, I have to shed a tear because I want to go home. And anytime I hear somebody talking about the Himalayan mountains on a video that we post on our Kriya Yoga school community, I super resonate with that. Like, oh yeah, I want to go back, you know?
Yeah.
I can't wait till my time in jail is finished. And I could go back around the campfire and, you know, just do my inner work in peace and not have to worry about no bills or no distractions. There's no distractions in the Himalayan mountains or when you meditate in the forest. You're totally unconcerned with who won the Grammy, what movie's on TV, who's president, you know, who won the Super Bowl, who won the NBA championship. None of these things have any meaning to you, or nor do you want them to have meaning to you. So it's an undistracted, filled place, you know? And money has no meaning. One of the best stories I ever heard was Ramayana Maharishi. When he got to the place of his ashram, he took all his rupees and just threw it in the ocean. Said, I never want to touch this dirty money again. All this money goes into the water. You know? I never want to talk about rupees. I never want to hear about rupees. I don't even want to think about it. And he got his wish, for sure. I mean, he reached the highest state of enlightenment, that's for sure. I've been to his ashram before, and the energy there is super pure. Like, you feel enlightened just by walking in the door to that place. And even though he's transcended his physical body, his energetic presence is still in the building, let's say. So it's almost like a breath of fresh air where, like, I walk into the ashram and the place where he used to sit. I was like, oh, yeah. His physical body might not be here, but his energetic presence is definitely here. And I'm going to just sunbathe in the divine grace of Ramayana Maharishi, the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like, why am I here? I mean, I need to go to work and earn this money to pay bills and buy things. I was like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What? It looks like we have somebody here. Hi, Paul. Namaste.
Namaste, Paul.
Namaste.
So we were just talking about why we're here. I don't know if that's a question you have. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
Of course, it's one of
yeah,
the more profound questions.
yeah.
What
Like,
is, what's the meaning of life and all that good stuff?
yeah.
So what was the answer?
We haven't gotten there yet, but I, yeah. What is
Yeah.
my major purpose in life? In this, I think it's to become spiritually awake. So I'm working on that. So
Well, we were talking about Ramayana Maharishi, and one of his most profound things is he always used to say, "Who am I?" Which is basically a way to self-reflect, like, who are you really? Like, what is your true purpose on this 3D, how could I say, physical plane? and, and he would always, like, tell you to self-observe, like, in yoga, we always don't identify like, oh, well, I'm not my car because that's a piece of metal, and I'm not my bank account because that's just a bunch of ones and zeros, and I'm not Democrat or not Republican. That's just something they try to trick you into identifying. I'm not my football team. I'm not my basketball team. So who really am I? And it really trains you to kind of self-observe yourself and kind of look at yourself into the deeper meaning of life, and which is really profound. Like, and in my case, I mean, I don't have the answers. This is a really profound question. So I would just say it helps you see beyond it peels the layers of the onion back, let's say it like that, and you begin to go back as far as you can and see how far you could go down the rabbit hole to
yeah,
see who you truly are, and you really begin to see, like, how could I explain this? You're more of a divine spark. Like, when when Chad was here, I liked when he said that Tom Campbell said we're a chip off the old block. So the source is the block, and we're just a chip off that super block. Or it's like we're a drop off the ocean, and the source is the ocean. Or the source is the sun, and we're just a spark off the sun. So, like, that's how I would look at it. But doing these kind of techniques, it helps you to really self-observe and see who you really are. And you stop identifying with all this stuff. And you start shedding all this kind of identification. You know, they have these affirmations, like I said before, neti neti. You know, I am not this, not this. So, like, I am not my car. I am not, my nationalism, I am not American. I am not a Democrat or Republican. I am not my football team. I am not any of this. So it really helps you kind of shed all these identifications you've been conditioned to hold on to. And when you really go back, you realize that I'm just energy, a spark from the source, or something like that, like
yeah,
a drop in the ocean, like, so I am not any of this, and I don't identify with all this crazy material Maya delusion or any of this stuff. So that's why the real profound path in yoga is like a sannyasi path, which is like a renunciate path, or a gori path, which is a extreme renunciate path. They just let go of everything and they don't care about nothing. So it really helps you to really see what is important in life and what isn't important in life. So, like I was telling Veronica before, Ramayana Maharishi, which is arguably one of the greatest Kriya yogis. I mean, there've been a lot. Let's say he's in the top 5 for sure. When he came to the place of his ashram, he just took his money and threw it in the lake, like threw it in the water. I don't want to touch this dirty money again. It's taken my focus on my true nature, which is higher consciousness and trying to be divine oneness, so, or divine love. So when he threw it in the water, he got his wish, and he never had to touch money again, which I think is a truly beautiful story. And I aspire to be like Ramayana Maharishi one day also.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think all of us do.
I think maybe I'm thinking my purpose is to become spiritually awake, and I think the self-inquiry will help do that. But then I'm always thinking, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough to do this? Because I want to get to the point like you that I look forward to meditation. I don't have to think about it. It just becomes automatic. But I guess
Well,
I'm still a house under construction.
yeah, we're always a house under construction, but this is kind of an ego play. Your ego tries to trick you. Well, am I doing enough? Do I need to do more? But exactly what you're doing is perfectly great. If you just doing, just being aware is 80% of the battle already. Just taking action and doing your sadhana, you're all pretty much all the way home. Your ego tries to put up these blockages and these obstacles to kind of get you off the path and distract you off the path. And I know in my case in the beginning it was truly hard because my ego was super strong. I've been feeding my ego my whole life. So it ego hates Kriya Yoga because it it starves your ego and doesn't give your ego food that it loves to have. So in my case, I treated my body like an amusement park. I was totally consumed with my car, my bank account. I thought that made me who I am, you know, like
Yeah.
that I identified with all these zeros in the bank account. I am super smart. I am super intelligent because I have more money in my bank than you
Yeah,
do,
I'm
you
better
know?
than
So,
you.
like, I'm better than you, yeah. So, when I stopped identifying with the ego, like, oh, am I not doing enough? I'm not a good Kriya yogi. I'm not I'm not meant for this path. Why would Babaji talk to me? He only talks to Yogananda and all other ascended masters. I'm not worthy of this path, this and that. This is more of a ego kind of play that it puts up blockages because it knows that if you really go down this path 100% and take action, ego's going to go down as far as it can. And you're basically going to starve your ego, and it's not going to have those tasty food that it eats. Your fear, your materialism, your Maya delusion. Those are all like tasty cakes to your ego. So once you dissolve your ego, it fights you for sure. And in my
Yeah.
case, the first 3 months, it was a total all-out war, me and my ego, because it didn't want to die.
He
And
fought you.
it hated Kriya Yoga. And every initiation, everything I've done, my ego's always tried to block it. It always tried to put some doubt in my mouth, and doubt in my mind, or block me. Like, no, you don't need to do this. Stay home and watch TV. The football game's on, whatever it would say. So, it's always, I like when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, your ego's always hiding behind that tree over there. So it's always hanging out. It's always trying to come in your house. Hello, it's cold out here. Let me inside.
Yeah.
Like that type of thing. No, I like when my guru always said, if God comes to your door, don't leave God outside in the cold and rain. But if your ego comes to your door, leave your ego outside in the cold and rain. So I try to live by that, like ego outside, God inside.
And I think like physically, we actually really have to give up all the tasty cakes and all the, things the alcohol, the caffeine. I mean, I know we have to purify our body. And I think like that's part of what might be blocking me. You know what I mean? Just alcohol, nicotine. I think these things are like not conductive to the path that I'm on. So I have to literally give up the tasty cakes, not just metaphorically. I feel, but
Yeah,
in my, little by little, I suppose.
yeah, it's a hard path because you've been conditioned your whole life to or you take comfort in these things, right? And you miss that comfort, like like if I could just drink a beer tonight, that'd be great. I don't want to do my sadhana. Oh, what day is today? Oh, the full wheel pose. Oh my God, I hate that full wheel pose. Oh, it's gonna kill me. Like, oh, all right. Well, let's get to it. Even in my case, when I wake up, I'm almost like, oh, I know what day it is today. It's the plow pose day. Oh my God. Can I just do Shavasana and take it easy and relax today? But you kind of have to have that self-discipline where you just overcome that. Like, no matter what, we're gonna do it today, and I don't care what ego says. Like, we're going to get through it, and you always feel better when you do it. Like, see, that was nothing. My ego's a liar. Like, why do I keep believing this liar, this ego, right? Like, that's nothing. I feel totally refreshed, and I feel totally better, but it's always trying to stop you before you get into your sadhana. Once you get into your sadhana, you get into a rhythm and you're like, oh yeah, this is refreshing, like this is a breath of fresh air. Like, I don't even know why I was putting up those mental blockages and obstacles in my mind. I really enjoy this, but your ego tries to get you before you get to the door, if you know what I'm saying. It's all that mental chatter before you get there, right? Like, okay, once he gets into a sadhana, I'm screwed. But if I get him before he gets to a sadhana, I might have a chance.
Yeah.
Let's give it a go, like, let's try it out, like, so yeah, but it's hard, believe me. Like, sometimes I go to in Thailand, they have a lot of 7-Elevens. I go to 7-Elevens and I see like Skittles or M&Ms, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like those M&Ms and those Skittles, but I just can't do it no more. I still have good memories. What they say, taste the rainbow. I want to taste that rainbow, but I know I can't do it. All right, I'll just keep walking. I like when my guru said, when I saw like CDs or yogic special superpowers in the Himalayan mountains, keep walking. Nothing to see here, Vedagurudev. Keep walking. So when I see Skittles, I catch it out the corner of my eye, but I say, keep walking. Keep walking. Nothing to see here. This will give you a temporary Band-Aid or some temporary comfort to a thing that you're looking for permanent happiness, or you're looking for permanent enlightenment or permanent higher consciousness, and this is a water that you hold in your hand that would drip out in 2 minutes. So try to
Yeah.
keep walking, Paul. I agree.
I don't know. I
Reminds
think
me.
about Antar, and he enjoyed life. So it feels like I don't know. You have to have a balance too.
Yeah, Boganantar was an enjoyer, so he enjoyed everything. So if there were some Skittles, he would enjoy it. But instead of just temporary enjoyment, he enjoyed it to the maximum. He was like, if I'm gonna eat Skittles, I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can, and I'm not going to be attached to it no more. I enjoyed it. I felt the pleasure, and I moved on. So, but Boganantar is probably the Sita I resonate with the most, because I was initiated in Katagarma, where he has his yantra embedded into the ground at Katagarma Temple. Katagarma is where they had the tree where Boganantar initiated Babaji into Kriya Kundalini Pranayama. So it's a special place. So I like Bogar, but Bogar means enjoyer. So he was an enjoyer. He enjoyed as much as he could, and he didn't care nothing about no rules or regulations, what you should do. he enjoyed his life as much as he could. One of my favorite Boganantar stories was Boganantar was like a medicine man, like a chemist kind of, right? They had these these Sitas, they have ways to heal their body. So they're always looking for like alchemy to kind of enhance their body. So Boganantar had this dog, and he made this pill, and he gave it to the dog, and the dog died, right? And then his disciples were like, Bogar, don't eat that. You're going to die. And he ate it anyway. And he passed away. So they were trying to figure out how to bury Boganantar. Like, oh, sad day, our guru Boganantar passed away, right? And they looked up on this hill, and they saw Boganantar and the dog, and they were like, they came back. They were resurrected or whatever. And Bogar said to them, not only are we resurrected, we now have the Siti of flying. So him and the dog just flew away and went wherever they want. So they were enjoying so much that they would try things. All these Sitas, they're always trying to figure out how to extend their life so they could do as much and get as far down the path as they can. So that's why they're always looking for the alchemy to kind of extend their life as long as they can. So, but I like this story of Boganantar. And they say in yogic tradition that Boganantar went to China and he became Latsu. So if they say that is really Boganantar, he left India and took his spirituality and all the kriyas that he learned on the yogic path and became Latsu. So they say Latsu is a great yogi, which is the reincarnation in the Chinese way of Boganantar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had tons of time. I posted a lot of videos. There was one about Bible prophecy and other ones, about all the, secret space program stuff. But and this book I'm reading is like, like about are like these people, historical figures and all these things like the Nephilim. Is it like legend or reality? Like, did they really exist? So as far as the Bible goes, like I've always had my doubts about like how everything came to be and like what's going on. But as I'm reading all this, and they're also comparing all the different religions, just like Sri Yukteswar made the book The Holy Science, comparing Christianity with Kriya Yoga. But it's almost like every single religion has like the story of the flood in some way. They have giants. So like it's just kind of like blows my mind to think that like, yeah, like this really happened. And like, because like we're like brainwashed, and we see, I personally have not ever seen anything I would consider supernatural, or I've heard like so many stories from different people, but so I just don't know, like, and they're also going into like the monotheism and the polytheism, and how we were led astray from the one true God, and then we had idols and things like that. And so then I get confused about all the various Hindu gods, but I realize that it's just like aspects of God. But like I'm just wondering, like, as far as the Bible prophecy goes, like I feel like we're in that time of they would call it the apocalypse, but it's not really like a end of the world type scenario. And whether we have like the ability through our own free will and choice to like change the outcome, because I feel like there could be two outcomes. One for those who just are kind of like towards the evil side, and they're going to go down that apocalyptic road, and those of us who like see the light are going to go down a different road, like timelines and everything. It's just like so hard to fathom. It's just like the mind of God, like the story that God has created, and if it's predestined to be or not. So those are all the things that are running through my mind.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, Paul.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you can only do what you can do. Like, my guru used to say, like, these are good stories, but we really don't get attached to the stories because we're writing our own story. We're doing our own inner kind of work. So I would just say, like, there's a lot of information out there, but it all comes back to what I would say is what serves you in the present moment. Like, some of this is like good candy to get your popcorn and watch the movie, but like if you haven't seen a giant in the present moment, it's a good story, but it doesn't really serve you in the present kind of moment. So I would just say, just do the best you can, and whatever happens, that's what happens. I always like when they say in yoga, no matter if it's the end of the world, the apocalypse, or what happens, don't let nothing shake your samadhi. So no matter what happens, you don't really try to make sense of it. You just try to do your inner work and be the best person you can. And if it's the end of the world tomorrow, you're not really affected by it. You did as much as you can, and you have no regrets.
Sounds like a good philosophy, because I realize like there's little I can do besides be the best person that I can be, and try to help others along the same path, achieve enlightenment. So
Yeah,
that
you
is
begin
what.
to realize you can't really change the outcome. And so you just realize that you're sovereign, you're the king of your own castle. So if you realize that and do your inner work and control what you can control, then you won't be so attached to the outside kind of narratives. You'll be like, you almost look at it like a comedy kind of movie. I like when Babaji says in the voice of Babaji, death is a joke to me. I am the death of death. So as yogis, if we could laugh at death, what can't we laugh at? So all this other stuff is almost like kindergarten to us. Like, okay, yeah, maybe there were a time where there were giants, but when I walk outside my door, I don't see any giants, so it really doesn't serve me in the present moment, and I'm just going to do my inner work, and whatever happens, that's what happens. And if it all ends tomorrow, and say I do go before the council of elders, like Chad would say, I don't really have nothing to report. I helped as many people as I can. I did the best I can with the tools I have, and open up the gates. I'm ready to come home, if you know what I'm saying. Like 10 years ago, you ate a cheeseburger, Vedagurudev. What do you have to say for yourself? Nothing. I did it, and you could turn the page, or whatever. Like last week, Paul drank a 40 ounce. What do you have to say for yourself, Paul? Nothing. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, and turned the page, So that's kind of how I look at it. Like, if you live with no regrets and you kind of just let what happens happen, then you never kind of lose. It's almost like a win situation. Like, I wasn't attached to any of this anyway, so if it's all gone tomorrow, so be it. That's why I like the yagna, because it's like giving you the visualization. Let it burn. Let all these problems burn. I don't want to hold these problems. I don't want to carry this rock no more. Burn them all up. Whatever financial problems I have, burn in the holy Yagna fire. Whatever family problems I have, burn in the holy fire. You know, whatever emotional problems, burn. Just watch it burn. So if it ended the world, I'm gonna enjoy the movie and get my popcorn and watch it burn.
I know how you feel, Paul. It's just like, you know, you're being lied to, but then it's like you're powerless. There's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, just let it go. Like Vedagurudev said, until we have proof, there's nothing we can do. But you know you're being lied to, and it's frustrating.
I like when my guru used to say, liars tell lies. I mean, that basically sums it up. Like, if you're hoping a liar's going to tell you the truth, you're almost wasting your time, you know? Like, liars tell lies, and they're going down with the ship, and they're going to lie to the end of the days, if you know what I'm saying. So, if you're hoping to get the truth from the liars, that's almost like a waste of time. So, like, liars tell lies. That basically sums it up beautifully, you know?
Yeah, that's their nature.
Yeah, I was watching the new Captain America movie last night with the family here, and I was thinking, you know, we've talked about this in the past, how they like kind of show us it, and it was like this, you know, president, a brave new world, it's called. It's like, oh, that's President Trump that they're like saying there, and then like the evil guy like gave him the drug, like some of that stuff that they had in the Hulk, because he had been wronged by the president. The president was kind of evil before, and he was trying to turn over a new leaf. And, you know, he wanted to like have this time with his daughter, because his daughter kind of started hating him because of the way he was. And he wanted to like to go back to where they were in this cherry blossom field. And, yeah, so he ends up turning it. He got these pills that because his heart was failing, and he thought that's what he was taking, but it turned him into like a evil Hulk. And then at the end, you know, but I was thinking, as far as that goes, I was thinking about the COVID, and that they're putting something in us that they can activate through the 5G signal. You know, who knows if that's true or not, but I was just like seeing how it all kind of like fit into like the narrative of, you know, what's kind of going on here. But it was interesting. You know, I enjoyed it. You know, a good show, as we would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would, like Chad would say that this is, what would they say it? The programming they put in right in your face in movies, right? So they're trying to tell you their game plan right in front of you. So, but if you, how could I say this? If you have your shield or your Kavachum shield down, it's easier for them to do that. But when COVID happened, I asked my guru, like, what should I do, Baba? He was like, you're a yogi. This is light work, you know? How would he say it? Dissolve on impact, right? It was kind of the visualization like meteors hitting your atmosphere. So if you have your shield up, these things are easily affect you if you're in a state of fear, if you're in a lower state of consciousness, right? It's easier to come in. But if you're like in a higher state of consciousness and floating in the clouds, as you would say, then I like the analogy, if a tree falls in the woods and you didn't hear it, did it really fall? So they're always trying to make you attached to that there is something that you should protect yourself about. But I can tell you, all the yogis in the Himalayan mountains have never heard of COVID, so they're not affected by it at all. It's not a thought that crosses their mind. So they would try to put this programming into you. Like, let's say every night on the news, they would show you the death numbers to kind of lower your vibration or your higher frequency and get you into a state of fear where you're easily controlled, you know? So, but if you don't care nothing about that, they have no power, right? I don't care. I don't care who wins the Super Bowl. I got no dog in the fight. Or I don't care what this person does or that person does. Or I don't care about your stupid vaccine. Get out of here with that. I don't care nothing about none of this, right? I'm doing my inner work and I'm the king of my castle, so I'm not affected by any. I don't want to be an actor in your movie. I got my own movie, and my own movie is beautiful. And I am the creator, director of my movie. I can make it as great as I want. So I don't want to be in your movie. Movie's a horror movie for me. I don't like horror movies. I like uplifting, blissful, happy movies, which I create myself in my own mind. So
Yeah, I kind of often wonder if I'm in on my own little private timeline, it's just who
Yeah.
knows. But we're
yeah,
all in
yeah.
our
Be on your own timeline. Your own timeline. You are the creator. You can make it however you want. Don't let no one affect your timeline. That's why in our school, one of the most profound meditations we have is Ananda Bliss meditation, going to your happy place, So be the creator of your own timeline. Make your own timeline as great as you want it to be. Don't be on anybody else's timeline. They want you to attach to their narrative, to their timeline. Make your own time. Walk your own path. Don't walk somebody else's path. And you'll be as free as you want. I was telling Veronica, my favorite thing I like to laugh at is freedom is not free. Of course it's free. Just close your eyes and you can be as free as you want. You are the creator of your free timeline. So they use these buzzwords to trick your consciousness into doing something it really doesn't want to do. So when you realize that you're as free as you could be and no one can control you and you're the king of your castle, then these subliminal words can't hypnotize you the way they used to.
good point. I
I
liked
don't know. Here's,
I was
go
just
ahead.
gonna say, I liked Chad's last video on God. That was like a pretty good one. I thought it was accurate, as to the nature of God and everything. Did you guys see it?
No.
Yeah, I saw it. The source, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I was telling Veronica before you got on, I am a fan of the source. I want to know as much as I can about the source. So that's why when Chad had like Liz Cross on his channel, I was like, this person has a connection to the source? The source. I don't know anybody who has a connection to the source. I want to know as much about the source as I can. That's why when she was kind of reading me, I was like, don't read me. I want to know about the source. So I am a fan of the source, I am in the source fan club. So I want to know as much about the source. So any little information I could get about the source, I contemplate, I meditate on it, and I say, yeah, that sounds about right. So that's why a lot of the stuff that Chad would say about Tom Campbell, I would really contemplate, and I was like, sounds pretty accurate, to me. My intuition is telling me that he's on to something here. I like Tom Campbell, Some people you contemplate on them and you're like, I don't think so, That doesn't sound like something an all-loving, unconditional source would say, But I don't know. I could be wrong too. So I really do enjoy source conversations.
Yeah, me too.
I
Were
don't
you
know.
guys?
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, were you gonna say something, Veronica?
Yeah, I don't know. Here's a question that I don't mean to offend anybody if it does, but like if you're like strongly religious and you've got strong beliefs on like what is wrong and what is right, could you practice Kriya Yoga with your religious beliefs? I don't know, or would Kriya Yoga get in the way? Or maybe Kriya Yoga could be stacked on it and it could be something worked you know, uh, Kriya yoga and religion, you know, somebody who has a religion that's very strong beliefs on what's right and wrong. But I just wonder if that would, Kriya yoga could work side by side with somebody's religion, or if maybe it would get in the way. Or because it seems like Kriya yoga, you have to be open minded, and some religions don't seem very open minded.
Yeah, well, like I told you in our interview yesterday, Kriya Yoga, they would say, like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the supreme science of God. So it's more of a science to me. Like you test it, you observe it, you experience it, so you know it. So no one can tell you Kriya Yoga doesn't work because you live it, you experience it. So that is probably the best way. Like blindly believing somebody isn't the right path for me. I want to test it. I want to experience it. I want to observe it. So these dogmas and this other religion, like, let me tell you a story about God. Like, I have my own connection to God. I have my own story to God, which they don't really like that. When I used to go to church with my mother, I liked when they said, "We've done all the thinking, so you don't have
Yeah.
to," right? Like, what? Like, don't try to think about this. Don't try to walk your own path. Just regurgitate what we tell you, and you'll be one with Jesus or whatever. So, but I would say a greater path is to experience it and see what works for you, because it's not one size fits all. Like, I resonate with Jesus, so you should resonate with Jesus. Like,
Mm.
you have to find out what really uplifts you and makes you the better person at the end of the day. So I would see, like, I like in our school, we don't really have no dogma. These are the techniques. Believe whatever God you want to believe in. They're all perfectly great. I don't have nothing bad to say about Jesus. I love Jesus. We had a great Christmas celebration of Yeshua. And Kriya Yoga, Christ consciousness, is probably the highest form of enlightenment. If you go to Lake Shrine, SRF, and Pacific Palisades of California, they have a picture of Jesus right next to Babaji, and right next to Krishna, and right next to Lahiri Messiah, Yogananda, Yukteswar. So, but I would say I like it when they say the kingdom of God is inside you as you, right? So you kind of cut out the dogma and the monetization of your connection to God, right? If you could close your eyes and be one with God, then it kind of kills their money, if you know what I'm saying. Because you realize you don't need them. So they always kind of want to put that block up that give me some money so I can send God an email to you. But if you have a direct connection to God, then they can't monetize that, let's say. So
So I was thinking, the same thoughts that you just had. When I was reading all this stuff, I was like, I kind of thought like God was non-judgmental and everything like that, but and that God would not like have any kind of wrath. But then I'm thinking, oh well, he did the flood. He like wiped out almost all of humanity because they had all become wicked. So then I was thinking, and I always doubted like that there was a hell. I'm like, nah, there's no hell, except the one that you make yourself. But so yeah, I was kind of like struggling with that too, and like one of the problems that they did was they were worshiping false gods and not the one source. I forgot they had a good name for source, but the one true creator. So like now I don't really know if God would take any wrath or anything like that. And and I don't know if like hell is like a real thing, like the pit, the void where he imprisoned like the demons. who were prior to that the Nephilim, who came about because of the fallen angels intermixing with the daughters of man, which was prohibited, and then with Lucifer and all that stuff. So yeah, I was like, oh, by doing Kriya yoga, like, am I worshiping an idol? But I realize I'm not. I got that straight in my head that like these gods, you can call them gods, but they're more like saints, just like they have in Christianity. And so that's how I look at it now. Like these various gods in Hinduism are more like saints, and that they are just there to help us to make a connection with the one true God. So that's what I would kind of say about it.
I mean, I would say, who says who's a false idol and who's a real idol? It all depends what works for you the best, right? Like, who is the police for God? Let's say it like that, right? There is no police for God. And if you really look at it, God is everywhere and everything. So there are no real false idols. If you worship the God inside of a tree, it's still God. It's still probably going to the same place. So this is a way for these kind of dogma kind of people to say, we are the chosen one. We have the real connection to God. And I don't know what else you're doing, but that's not the true connection to God. But what is a true connection to God, honestly, right? It's whatever uplifts you and makes you feel the best. So if anybody tells you you're worshiping a fake idol, get away from that person, because they have no clue what's a real idol. Is there really a real idol? Because everything is a spark of God. God is everywhere and everything. So if you worship a cat like it's God, you're probably right, because the cat is God. Or you worship a tree like it's God, you're right, because the tree is God. So everything is really God. So when they say that I have the true answer to the universe, probably get away from that person, because who really has the true answer to God? God is everywhere and everything. And are there any fake idols? I highly doubt it. Everything is God and God is everywhere. So this how can I say? Our football team is better than your football team. Let's say it like that.
Yeah.
And that's more ego based and that's more judgmental based. If you have a perspective of all football teams are great. Like when you go to Lake Shrine, SRF, and Pacific Palisades, they have shrines for all religions. So they're not biased to anything. Like whatever gets you to the mountaintop, that is the best religion. Like just don't really attach to too many of the dogma, and these are all cool stories, but at the end of the day you got to do your inner work. Most of these people are attached to this story and that story, like I don't know, Babaji did this, or I don't know, Jesus did this. How do you know? These are cool stories, but it all comes back to detach from the story and do as much inner work as you can and be the best person you can. Because, but they like telling these stories, but we are Kriya yogis. We don't tell stories about Kriya yoga. We do the sadhana. So it's cool if you have some downtime to go down these rabbit holes, but at the end of the day, the best question to ask yourself is, what serves me in the present moment? Does this serve me in the present moment? It's a cool story around the campfire, but how does this really uplift me and help me and get me where do I need to go? Some of these stories have good like parables, which help you contemplate and look for the deeper meaning. But like, I would just do as much inner work as you can, and try not to get attached to other people's story. Make your own story, right? Be the director of your own movie.
Yeah. Have my own direct experience. I don't know, do my own research. I want to be a knower, not an assumer. So
Right. No one can tell me Kriya Yoga doesn't work because I live it. I experience it daily. So if somebody says these are fake practices, these are you're worshiping fake idols, I would say not fake to me, real as can be. How do you know how I feel inside me as me? And who made you the policeman of real idols and fake idols, you know? So you begin to see the ugliness and the ego play of it, like I know what's best for you. No one knows what's best for you except yourself, right? So I'm going to tell you what real God is. Really? You know what real God is? Wink wink. Sure. I was telling Veronica in the beginning, like I like when they say in yoga, a God defined is a God confined. Like, oh, you're going to put God in a box, something that's beyond my comprehension, and you have the secrets of the universe? Sure you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're going to tell me what I should do and how I should live my life and what God I should pray to? No thanks, you know? You know? If you so you begin to really see the ugliness and the ego play of let me tell you what's real and what's fake. There is no real in there. I like in yoga when they say we live in equanimity. We don't even see good or bad. We see them all as equal. So what's real and what's fake? Only you could be the judge of that. So anybody is telling you they know what's real and what's fake, just get away from them because they have no clue what's real and what's fake. And especially them trying to tell you how you should feel. Whatever deity uplifts you and makes you feel the best, that is the realest deity ever. So I would just lean into that and cultivate and enhance that deity. And everybody's saying, all these talking heads out here saying, this is real and this is fake and this is authentic yoga and this is fake yoga. Get away from those people because they're totally living in an ego play and in judgment. I said in our interview with Veronica, anybody that tries, any yogi that tries to talk bad about another yogi should go in the bathroom and look in the mirror and point at themselves. Why am I such an ego play? I can think of nothing more uglier than telling another person what to do and what God to believe in. That is totally ugly, right? You know, like, I would never send Sadhguru an email like, you're doing the wrong practices. I have Babaji's direct phone number, and I am Babaji's policeman, and we do not approve of you helping people around the world. How ugly is that? So it goes back to the same thing. Like, how ugly is it when people say, like, I know the true God, and I'm the chosen one, and you shouldn't worship Babaji because that's a fake idol, and I have the real idols over here, and my football team is better than your football team, and your football team stinks, and they're stupid. You know, it's just an ugly, judgmental ego play. And in yoga, we're trying to dissolve our ego, not make more ego. But they're out there for sure. They're going to tell you what you should think and what sadhana you should do and what God you should worship. Just get away from those people as fast as you can. You are the king of your castle, and you choose what God makes you feel the best. And don't listen to anybody who says fake idols. Like, are there fake idols?
Yeah.
If a tree falls in the woods and I didn't hear it, did it really fall? You know? But if you start attaching yourself to their narrative will become your narrative. And that's what you don't want to. So you'll start regurgitating that narrative as your own. And that's what they really want. Make your own narrative. Like, you know, you see, like, I don't know, mainstream media, the thing they want the most is you to just regurgitate what they say, right? They want you to go to work, sit around the water cooler and say, hey, Bob, you know what I heard today on CNN? Oh, really? Okay. And they want you to regurgitate that as facts. And it's the same thing as religion. The religion dogma is the master of this. This is where government gets all this, right? They see like, oh, if we prop up this ascended master and present him as a true God, most people are so lazy they're just going to regurgitate it. You know, like, I mean, my mother is deeply religious, and I told her one time and she got mad at me. I said the only reason we're Christians because some people got on a boat from England and brought their religion here, and we just regurgitated their religion. She didn't like that, but it's kind of the truth. You know what I'm saying? So find out what God makes you feel the best and resonates with you. Don't regurgitate other gods. You know what I'm saying? So if Jesus uplifts you, perfectly fine. If Babaji uplifts you, perfectly fine. There's no right or wrong here. There's no true or false. It's whatever works best for you, right? So in our Kriya Yoga School, I'm not trying to tell people this is the best technique. I always say, do which technique makes you feel the best. Your body is different from my body. We're on different places, different levels on the spiritual path. Whatever helps get you through the day, that is the best practice. So whatever God gets you through the day, that is the best God. So, but definitely don't regurgitate other people's God and make their narrative become yours. Think for yourself. That's my favorite. Thinking is a sin of pride. What? You just want me to regurgitate what you say as true? Yes. No thanks.
Yeah.
And when you do these practices, you don't need somebody to give you Babaji's phone number. You have your own phone number, you know? So you call him directly. Like, why do I need a middleman in between my connection to God? I don't. And you begin to see you could have a great connection to God if you just close your eyes and meditate and become one with God. Have tea with God inside you as you. That is probably a way more profound, like, come over here, my friend, and let me tell you some stories about God. No thanks. God's direct phone number in my pocket.
Well,
Yeah, I feel
what
like
all my questions kind of really boil down to is there's just one God, the Most High. Would you say that's true? And that
Yeah, I would
everything.
say, I mean, like it goes back to what I said. A God defined as a God can find. Like, in my perception, even giving a word to something that's beyond my comprehension is almost kind of ugly to it. Like, God is such a beautiful thing that I don't want to put these ugly words or this ugly box onto God, you know, this jail. This is what you are. Like, how would I know what the source is? It's beyond my comprehension. It's outside of our system, you know. It's who knows? But I would say there is I mean, that's even hard to define too, because if you ask somebody like Liz Cross, she would say there's a God of this universe and a God of other thousand universes, and then there's an overall God, which who knows what that guy's doing. So, you know, it depends what spark of source you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So if you're talking about the spark of source of this universe, yeah, probably. But is there a overall? There's probably an overall oneness, but there's different incarnations of the overall source. Like I said, like chip off the old block, right? Like archangels are a spark of God, but are they the overall source? Probably not. Like, who even knows where the overall source is? So I would say everything is a spark of God, and if you see God in everything, you're probably on the right track, in my opinion. But I mean, I really couldn't say, like, I always come back to that, a God defined as a God can find. Like, it's it's too hard for me to even fathom. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to eat for dinner tonight and trying to figure out what the source is doing. Wow. That's way above my pay grade.
Yeah, I feel like people get on their soapbox and they want to be the ones that have all the answers. And like, I have the gospel truth, but and it's like, when I listen to it, it's like it's just their opinions. And I'm always thinking, like, how do you know that this is the truth? And I don't know. I feel like I've got to decide for myself what the truth is. But I don't know. I think the wisest people are the people that say, I really don't know. I don't know, but I'll find out. I'll figure it out on my own. I don't know, but I like what people want to be spoon fed information. I don't know. I
Yeah,
think you have to.
to me, saying what the source or God is doing is a total ego play. Who knows? I have no clue what source is doing or
Yeah.
what
Do I
the
need to
truth
know?
is. And yeah, and that's what it really comes down to. Do I really need to know, right? I mean, I have enough on my plate just doing my inner work and posting some motivational videos every day. You know, there's not enough hours in the day right now. So, I mean, yeah, like I don't know. In my perception, people who say they know have no clue what's really going on. And in my perception, the source is so beyond comprehension that you probably couldn't even make sense of it in your little monkey brain anyway, you know? Like it's too infinite of a explanation, right? That your mind probably couldn't even compute. In my little peanut brain, I can't even compute what God is trying to
Yeah.
do right now. And I got enough on my plate just trying to do my inner work, trying to make sense of the source. Woo! That's a road I don't want to go down. You know, and you're probably not going to be able to make sense of it anyway. You're just going to come to the end of the day like, my perception of God works best for me in the present moment, and I'm just going to cultivate and enhance that. And I don't want no kind of outside influencing my narrative, like, you know, like and you begin to see, like, let's say in Kriya yoga, they're accepting of all traditions. When I went up the Himalayan mountains, we accepted people from all spiritual traditions. We didn't care what God they believed in. So you want to walk with us? Oh, I'm a Buddhist, I can't walk with you. Okay, well then stay there. Oh, I'm a Buddhist and I like your energy, I want to walk with you. Come on. We don't care what you call yourself. As long as you're carrying divine energy, you're a brother. Oh, I'm a sadhu. We love sadhus. I'm a gori. I haven't showered in 10 years. We don't care. I don't smell anything. You smell good to me. Come on, let's walk, you know? Like, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. We love Jesus over here too. Come on, let's rock, you know? Like, we take everybody. We don't care what your beliefs are, you know? Like, let's have a collective energy that uplifts everybody, you know? Like, I like the visualization, like we were kind of like the Pied Piper, and some other people were the Pied Piper. If we would meet other yogis or other people that had good energy, lead the way, my brother. You know, all right. I like your energy. I wanna sunbathe in your energy. Or if we're leading the way, sunbathe in our energy. Whoever's leading, it don't matter, long as we're all going to the same place. So I always like that kind of visualization, like, and I always thought it was beautiful when I went to like Lake Shrine and Pacific Palisades that they respected all spiritual traditions. Like, this isn't just a mecca for Kriya yogis. We accept everybody. You want to look at the flowers and walk around the lake? Everybody's welcome. Nobody. Oh, you're a Muslim? Well, we got a Muslim shrine over there. Pray to that if you want, or pray to all the shrines. Right? You don't have to believe in Babaji. If you're a Muslim and you like praying to Muhammad or Allah or whatever God they pray to, then it's perfectly great.
Well, that kind of clears it up then.
Yeah.
I don't know if it clears it up, Paul. I'm still a house under construction. I don't think it could ever be clear, but I'm I'm trying to do the best I can with the tools I got, and I'm just delivering Babaji's mail. So I take no credit for all this, all the glory to Babaji. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could ever clear it up. I'm just trying to make sense out of something that can't be made sense out of, let's say. So
Yeah.
these are all my opinions. Don't attach yourself to my dogma. Figure out yourself what works best for you. That is probably the best practice.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many things that are beyond my comprehension. So I just came to the conclusion that logic does not exist outside of the universe. I will never understand it because not with this human brain. So I don't think logic exists outside the universe for us to like. I don't know. I just don't think we could really comprehend all the inner workings of what's going on. So
True.
Yeah, and
I mean,
you would probably waste a lot of time trying to comprehend it. Just enjoy the present moment. Like, enjoy the glory of the universe if you get that audience one day. So I'm not going to try to make sense of why this is that or why this is that. I'm going to just be like, this is totally beautiful, and I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. and
yeah.
and enjoy, be a Boganantar in the present moment, and just enjoy the light show or whatever is presented to me at the present moment, and bow to the glory of the source. Source is the greatest. So I always think when I wake up and the sun comes up, I always thank the source, because the source is doing the greatest job of all, right? Thank you, source. The sun came up today. Today is a good day. So I always say, if the source don't come to work tomorrow, I'm in big trouble. But today the source came to work, so thank you, source. So when I pray to these different deities, I'm praying to the God inside them as me, right? So when I pray to Shiva, I see I am Shiva and Shiva is me. So it's almost like a reflection of the divine spark of them inside me. So it's almost like a mirror reflecting back to me. So I thank all the deities for the job they're doing, So they're doing the best job of them all. So what do I need? Nothing. You want some answers? Nope, I'm good. I always say Babaji doesn't need to show himself to me. He's doing the best job of all, right? I'm good, right? Babaji, keep up the good work. You're doing the greatest job of them all, right? I don't need the ego play of Babaji materializing in front of me. He's doing a great job. He got way more important people to help than me. So I'm good, Babaji. Keep up the good work. So when I do my morning puja, I always do thank God for the job he's doing. Whatever incarnation of God you see, he's doing the best job out of everybody. That's the way I say it. So thank you, Source. You're doing an outstanding job. The sun came up today. I'm totally blissful. What do you need to do for me? Nothing. Keep up the good work, Source. You're outstanding.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe like what you just said, maybe that's the best way to navigate this life, is just be in a state of gratitude and thankful for like Babaji and everything he does. I don't know, just be thankful for everything you have. Maybe that's the best way to navigate this life. So I don't know what your
You
thoughts.
could never go wrong with gratitude. Just be grateful. Life is beautiful if you really open your eyes to it. My guru would say most of these people are sleeping with their eyes open. So once you become aware and you become conscious, then you could really see the beauty that's all around you that you took for granted for most of your life. So I really am grateful for everything. Like, if a person like me could be on this path, then what's not to be grateful, you know? I've done a lot of mistakes in my life that I'm not proud of, let's say. So I ate a cheeseburger when I was 10 years old. I always like to say that. So, you
Feel
know,
guilty.
so I let that, I throw that rock over off my back, you know, like but it's not over. You could always change course and pivot. And that's probably the thing I'm the most proud of. I pivoted. When I realized that I was a Kriya yogi, I pivoted, I leaned into it, I cultivated, and I enhanced it as much as I can. Like, Babaji has gave me these treasures, these lifelong treasures that are worth more than gold. I'm going to do the best I can. And sometimes, this is probably going to sound woo-woo or mystical, but I feel Babaji's presence, and he has a big smile on his face. Like, maybe if you watch this video, you see him smiling sometime. Like, that guy, Vedagurudev, I didn't think he could do it, but he's going for it. God
Yeah.
bless him. He's taking the tools I gave him, and he's going the full distance, you know? Most people, they're part-time yogis, whatever. They, you know, people go to church on Sunday, and the rest of the week they do bad things that they're not proud of, right? And try to repent on Sunday. But this guy is a 24-hour, 365, 7 days a week yogi. He goes for it all day, every day. And I can't get him to shut up about Kriya Yoga. He posts like 1 million videos a day. He's always talking about Kriya Yoga. He took what I gave him and he's running with it. God bless Vedagurudev. He's going for it. So if I could do it, you definitely could do it, because I wasn't born into no yogic tradition, and I treated my body like an amusement park 80% of my life. So I was the worst yogi ever. So I just want to show people that if I could do it, anybody could do it. All I did was just pivot and change course and change direction and lean into these Kriya Yoga sadhana that we have.
Yeah, I liked the Babaji quote you did today. It was summarized that don't worry about the unkind treatment of others. So let me see if I can find it. The
Yeah,
physical,
so that's,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to read it if that's all right. But
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
physical discomforts of the unkind treatment by others should not ruffle the serenity of your mind. Let there exist no trace of the melancholy in your presence.
Yeah, so that's a good example of it. Like, no matter what other people do, don't let it shake your inner peace, your higher consciousness, your enlightenment, your overall samadhi. Just kind of laugh at it like it is. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, especially in my case, I don't like to see children in pain. That is very painful
Yeah.
for me. I hate that the most, right? So the lowest of low to me is somebody who would hurt an innocent child, you know? Like, I don't care how much money you got in the bank. Like, that is lowest of low. So the unkind treatment of people, there's a lot out there, but you can't let it ruffle, like, you know, your inner serenity, right? You have to have your shield up. You have to be the king of your castle. You have to protect your inner consciousness. But even me, like, let's say I put up my Kavacham shield mantra as like my atmosphere. I can feel meteorites pinging my atmosphere all day, right? Like, they're out there. Those distractions, those unkind treatment is definitely trying to unruffle your serenity, for sure, right? Those meteors are hitting your inner atmosphere all day long, right? And I feel compassionate for people that don't have these tools, right? Because their meteors are hitting their earth every day, if you know what I'm saying. So luckily we have some tools to protect us from the outside Maya delusional world, but Yeah, it's rough out there, you know, like
Yeah.
it's it's a horror movie that you don't want to see, let's say it like that. And you got to kind of protect your inner consciousness from that, right? Like I can't sometimes I feel myself like, all right, let me see what Donald Trump's doing today, and then I'll see something on YouTube, and it's almost like sticking my finger in the light socket, like I can't
Yeah.
do it. I
It's
don't
trying to
want their
trigger you.
narrative to become my narrative. I don't care what MSNBC says about Donald Trump, or I'm gonna make my own decision up. I'm not gonna regurgitate their fake narrative or whatever. I don't want their narrative to become my narrative, to be honest with you. So I just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do it. So like in my state of higher consciousness, I can't watch horror movies no more. I just can't do it, you know? No matter how much I try to do it, like let me see what this Squid Games is about. This Squid Games 2. Let me see what it's about. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Mass murder. Oh my god. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's like, yeah, oh no. Okay. Oh, sorry, Bobby G. You know, I lost myself there for a second, you know? I ate some Skittles at 7-Eleven, you know? I'm sorry.
Drop it.
I'm on, dust myself off, get back on the path. I fell in the ditch. Oh, yeah, okay, all right. You know, I just wanted to see what the hype was about. Sorry, you know? It's not for me. You know, like, and that's the point too. When you start eating Skittles, you eat one or two, and like, I shouldn't have did this, you know. I don't know. I fell off the path. I lost myself for a second. You know, this doesn't serve me in the present moment. This isn't nourishing spiritual food that will uplift me. This
Yeah.
a band-aid, some comfort food that gives me some temporary pleasure.
Yeah, I like
Yeah, you
to
almost
be
have to
around
like
kids.
go ahead.
Kids just, I see their innocence and purity. Like the little boy here, Zach, he likes to run around naked, and like he's not ashamed of it at all. It's like later we became ashamed, just like they say the Adam and Eve story. Once they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, then that's when they like, oh, I got to cover myself up with a leaf, because there's something wrong with the way I was born. But and I remember myself as a kid, I used to also like run around naked. So it's it's fun for me to just watch him, in his innocence, how he is. And we were watching the Captain America, and he's got this big pillow that's like a donut, and he's like, I'm Captain Donut. It looks like the same shield like Captain America, except it has a hole in the middle. So I take a lot of joy from being around the kids, and their innocence and purity.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Like, if I had my choice, I would be around children all the time. I enjoy their energy, their purity, they're they haven't yet been conditioned to what to think and what to do and what is right and what is wrong. They just have an inner innocence. One of the videos I posted, Shiva Angi was talking about the innocence of Shiva, which is I thought was great. Like the childlikeness of Shiva. It was called Bola Shankara, right? Which is the innocence of Shiva. And I like to think of Babaji in the same way, like a teenage kind of playful, happy-go-lucky kind of guy, And I like that kind of innocence, playfulness, and just the purity of a pure soul of a child. My guru always used to say, Vedagurudev, you collected all this junk your whole life, throw it all away and go back to zero and be innocent like a child, be a pure soul like a child. Throw all away all this luggage, all this baggage you have that doesn't serve you in the present moment, and go back to being an innocent child, enjoying the sun, playing outside, being happy, That this is more important. So he would he would see me sometimes doing my sadhana. He was like, "Go back to 0," and just walk away. So it's the same concept, like happy, 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 0, 0, 0. You know, so maybe I should add that in the 0, 0, 0. So just go back to 0. He always said that 0. Go back to 0. Are you going back to 0 today? Yes, Baba. Okay, good. Keep it up. 0. You know. And I read one of the Sita books, and they said, I don't want, when I transcend my physical body, I don't want no one to say my name. I want to be like a sailboat sailing out into the sunset. And when you lose sight of me, there's no more sailboat. So.
Yeah, also here, like the culture is more accepting of like a child running around naked. Whereas in the United States, you know, they'd kind of be mortified if their kid came out and he didn't have his clothes on and he's just like prancing about. You know, it's like this culture is like much more like accepting of that, you know, and they haven't, like, I don't know, they're kind of more innocent here, I guess. So yeah, it's just weird, you know, the culture, different cultures and everything. So I'd kind of like to know, like, a little bit more about how you got on the path. Like first you started just like studying yoga through some acharyas, and then later you met the guru. And like, when exactly did you like start like following yoga? Like, was it when COVID hit that was like the trigger for it, or what was the trigger?
No, so how can I say this? About 10 years ago, I was a world famous DJ. I was
Right.
DJing in a nightclub in Bangkok. The owner of the nightclub was a Kriya yogi. I didn't know at the time. He was initiated in the Kriya yoga. So one day, out of the blue, he said, the manager and some of the staff, the other DJs, we're going to Sri Lanka to get initiated in the Kriya yoga. And I was like, what is Kriya yoga? I don't know. Like, so I didn't want to go, but he presented it to me like, if you don't go, you might not be able to work here no more. So I kind of forced myself to go. My ego blocked me the whole way, told me why I shouldn't go the whole way. I basically just got on the airplane, flew to Sri Lanka, got initiated in the Kriya yoga, wasn't interested in it, was just doing it half-assed so I could go back
Wait,
back to my ego life.
Quick question,
Yeah.
you know, because it seems like a contradiction that this guy is a Kriya yogi, yet he has a nightclub. You know, it's like, that seems like, and like one of my instructors at yoga, she's a bartender. So I'm like, these two things don't really seem to mix. So that kind of confuses me. But
I mean, it's possible. I was a DJ and a Kriya yogi. So if you have the right mindset, these things don't affect you, right? You're kind of detached from the movie. You're kind of a detached witness watching the things. You have a better awareness to, and you have better tools to protect you against this, and you're not attached to it, right? Like, if you're in a nightclub, then it doesn't affect you the way people perceive it should affect you. Let's say it like that, you know. So I would say that too. So if you have a good sadhana and a good balance, you're not attached to any outcome that happens in the nightclub. So it doesn't really affect you. It's more of a, and if you look at it a different kind of way, maybe you would say like, people are happy, they're dancing, they're having a good time. Maybe I could see the good in this also. So
good point. Good point. Okay. Okay. So you went to
I,
Sri Lanka then, and you didn't like it at
yeah, I
first.
didn't like it. You know, it was hot. It was. It wasn't the Four Seasons, if you know what I'm saying. So I just went through the techniques, not just trying to get out of there. Let's say it like that, right? I came to this one technique. It's called Babaji Sanyama, which is basically a meditation where you connect to Babaji. And let's say Babaji struck me with his lightning bolt. I had a audience with Babaji in a divine kind of light kind of form, and I realized at that moment I was on the path. I was a Kriya yogi, and from that day on, I tried to learn as much about Kriya yoga as possible.
Okay,
So,
pause. Have we learned that technique that you said was the one that when you got struck with Babaji's lightning bolt?
no, but that's maybe I will show that this week. That's a good idea, actually. But
Okay.
it's basically how could I say, just connecting to Babaji directly in meditation, which is what we do anyway, right? So a lot of our practices, mantra japa, this type of stuff. Shakti mantra is to connect to Babaji. So that's probably a good idea. That's one I should show, but it's hard to explain because it's inside you, and a lot of these pranayama breath or like meditation, it's hard to explain because
Mhm.
you're doing the inner work. But yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna think this class, our 56 class, that's a good one. Babaji Sanyama, yeah. So yeah, when I did that technique, how could I explain this? You have a technique that you learn day one when you get initiated in the Kriya Yoga. It's called Sudhi, which basically Purna Sudhi is like complete. Purna means complete, and Sudhi means cleansing. So you're completely cleansing your breath. That's why it's a complete yogic breath. You're cleansing your breath. So I had this technique called Sudhi, which was if a thought comes into your mind, just detach, let it go. Detach, let it go. So I heard this voice in my head, and I said, detach, let go. This is my ego playing tricks on me. Detach, let go. Detach, let go. About the fourth time, I realized that that person couldn't be detached and let go. Let's say it like that. So, and that's when I had, I don't know, let's say a Kundalini awakening, an audience with Babaji, darshan, so on, so forth, whatever you want to call it. So from that day on, things became more clear. Like I began taking out all the trash that I've been carrying around with my body and cleansing myself. So it was more of a pillar of light, a stream of consciousness that came to me. It became more clear. Like buy this book, buy this picture, this picture, this picture. What am I going to do with all this? You'll find out soon enough. So it became it became more clearer. So I would say from that day on, I became a Kriya yogi on the path. So it was like an all-in thing. I was like, if I'm going to be on the path of Kriya yoga, I'm going to surrender to it wholeheartedly. I'm going to do as much of these Kriyas, and I'm going to figure out what works for me in my daily sadhana and what are the best techniques, and I'm going to try to be the best Kriya yogi I could be in the present moment. So that's kind of what I did. For me, it was more of a night and day 180 turnaround. It wasn't a gradual thing. It was a light switch off, light switch on. You know what I was like? So that's when and I began to kind of shed all these identifications and shed all this ego, and like I said, the first 3 months was pretty harsh. I had bad dreams. It was basically my ego fighting me, but after that it became a lot smoother. And the sadhana really helped to overcome these things. Like when I look for opportunities when things happen that I could use these techniques, these tools in my toolbox to overcome what I was going through in the present moment.
And this was before you met your actual guru, Swami Vedananda Saraswati.
Yeah, before, way before. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was already on the path of Kriya Yoga, and I already had the interest in Kriya Yoga, and it just, I wasn't searching for a guru, but the guru kind of found me. You know what they say, when student is ready, the teacher appears. You know, something like that. So it wasn't like I need to get a guru. I was just like, all right, well, let's see what happens. You know, Babaji wants me to go to the Himalayan mountains. I'm gonna go there and let's see what happens. You know, I didn't really have any expectations, and all this stuff kind of fell into place as I progressed on the journey, let's say.
And then can you tell us the story about how you found the guru? I like that little mystical thing where he was like, no, we're waiting for someone else, you know, that story.
Oh, so yeah, so I went to initiation in India, and my roommate was Ved Mooney, right? So I showed up there, and Ved Mooney was in the room, and he was like, "Welcome, brother," and he was telling me stories about his guru and everything, and I was like, "Okay, that's great." So I left that initiation. I don't know, let's say 6 months later, I was just going through my sadhana meditation,
Back
and
in Thailand?
yeah, back in Thailand, and I was just going through my daily practice, no expectations, wasn't asking for anything, just doing my regular sadhana, and in my meditation, I got a darshan, a message from Babaji, and it was basically like, "My child, it's time for you to come home." And I said, "Where is home?" And he said, "The Himalayan mountains, Satupan Lake." So at this time, I read a lot of the books where the yogis went to Satupan Lake and they saw Babaji. There's many yogis who have seen him there, and I heard the stories. It was a difficult journey. 10 million rocks. You know, the Himalayan mountains are brutal. The wind, you know, Mount Everest, all that, right? So I basically said I had some knowledge of what the Himalayan mountains were in Satupan Lake, and I said to Babaji back, I said, "Babaji, please, Babaji. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm not a mountain man. I'm not a camping. I hate the cold. Probably the greatest day in my life is when my father told me we're moving from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Miami, Florida. I said, thank you, God. God has shined his light on me. No more winter, no more snow, no more shoveling the driveway so my father could go to work, no more scraping the windshield, no more snow plow, none of that junk. Hello, sunny South Florida. God has shined his life on me. 3:05, I'm coming home, right?" So, yeah, so I basically told Babaji, "Listen, I'm a tropical guy. I live in Thailand. I'm from Miami, Florida. Me in the cold, those days are over. I don't like the cold, you know? I avoid the cold as much as I can, you know? My body is I'm a warm-blooded guy now, right? I don't think I could go to the Himalayan mountains." And the message came back, "Don't worry, I'll clear the path for you." And I was like, "How?" And that's when the message came back, "You have Ved Mooney's WhatsApp app. Send him a message, call him, tell him he will take you to Satupan Lake." I was like, "No way, that's gonna happen, right?" No, the people have died up there. This is not a place where people are gonna take you, right? This is not there aren't tour guides who are gonna take you to a treacherous place, right? So I called Ved Mooney, and I was like, all right, well, if you say call him, I'm going to call him. He's not going to do it, but I'm going to call him anyway, right? So it's basically like I called Ved Mooney, and I was like, Ved Mooney, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to just tell you anyway. Babaji told me to call you, and he said you're going to take me to Satu Pond Lake. And he was like, how do you know? And I was like, how do I know what? Babaji just told me to call you, and you would take me to Satu Pond Lake, right? And he was like, I heard him like talking in the background. He's like, I can't believe this. Oh, man. He was like, I'm going to call you back in an hour. Let me talk to my guru, and I'll call you back. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, Babaji, I tried. He's not going to take me. So he called me back in an hour, and he was like, all right, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to just tell you anyway, right? And I was like, okay, let's hear it. He was like, me and my guru got the message from Babaji that we were supposed to wait for somebody. And now we know that person is you. So get ready. I don't know how you know we were going to Satu Pond Lake. We've been planning this for the last 6 months. And magically, because he couldn't understand, like, how do you know we're going? Right? I go, I don't know you're going. Babaji told me to contact you. He goes, oh, man, I can't believe this. So we've been planning this trip to Satu Pond Lake, but we didn't want to go because we know we're waiting for somebody. Right? Babaji said, wait for somebody. I'm going to send you somebody that's going to go with you. So we didn't know when or how or who, but now that you made this call and you told me this, and I told my guru, he said, get ready to go to the Himalayan mountains. So I was like, oh man, I'm definitely going, right? Like, there's no way to back out of this. So he was like, go to this store called Decathlon and buy some hiking boots, buy a hiking pole, buy some kind of cold weather. So, you know, like they have like a ninja mask which covers your everything but your eyes. So, you know, the wind is super strong there. So the wind is like super hitting your ears, you know? So you got to kind of cover your ears, and you got to, which is weird, you got to have suntan, like sunscreen, because the sun reflects off the snow and it burns you the same way you would go to the beach. So he was like, go to the store Decathlon, buy all this stuff I tell you. You know, you're going to need like a rain poncho in case it rains or whatever, right? So I was like, I live in Thailand. They ain't going to have no hiking stuff. They have like beach stuff and warm weather stuff. So I looked it up on Google, and I saw this store named Decathlon. They have like, I don't know, 20 kilometers from me in the city named Pattaya by my house. And I was like, all right, I'll go there, but they ain't going to have no hiking stuff. And then I can go back to sleep, and I don't have to go to the Himalayan mountains. Sure enough, I went in there. They had everything. Hiking boots, hiking poles, everything you need to climb a mountain. And well, I was like, how is that possible? And you know, so I bought all this stuff. I basically flew. This was probably like this was probably July. And then, no, this was probably August. In September, I flew to India. So it was probably like 3 weeks later. And I flew to Delhi. Ved Mooney told me, when you get to Delhi, take the train to, what's it called? Kathmandu, which is actually the Hydrocon station on the train. So, and we'll pick you up there. So Ved Mooney came in a car, picked me up. Then we drove like 3-4 hours up the Himalayan mountains to my guru's ashram, right? Soon as I got there, I was like, hello, Swami Vedananda, nice to meet you. He's like, yeah, enough of that. Stand there and let me scan you, right? So he scanned me for like 5 minutes, closed his eyes. He was, I guess, reading my energy and see if I was a true lover of Babaji. And After 5 minutes, he opened his eyes. He said, "Okay, let's go. You're good. Come on, let's roll." So I basically stayed at his ashram for like I don't know, like a week, and then we took the trip up the Himalayan mountains, and on the trip up the Himalayan mountains, that's when he said, "I would like to be your guru, and I would like to." I mean, he decided he wanted to be my guru. I didn't tell him like, "I want you to be my guru." He told me, so I was like, okay. So once we got to the cave above the Himalayan mountains, Satupan Lake, which is, they say, the ashram of Babaji, where many ascended masters have seen Babaji there and had an audience with Babaji. When we were in the cave, he said, "I got a message from Babaji, and he told me to give you name Diksha, and your new name would be Vedagurudev." So that's basically a long story in the short form, but that was pretty long-winded too. So
I love that story.
that's
It's just
basically how it happened. So,
amazing.
and then I went around traveling with my guru all around India. Ved Muni was there too, and we went to different places. We met all kinds of different spiritual. My guru wrote a book. It's called Kailash in the Quest of Self, where he basically, I think it was 2 years, walked around India. So he knows all the ascended masters from all spiritual traditions. Like, he knows them personally, right? So these techniques that we have is like a collection of what he got in all his spiritual travels around. So he knows all these people personally. Like, let's say Sri M, Sadhguru, all yogis, right? So he knows who has good energy and who doesn't, because he actually walked the walk and talked the talk, if you know what I'm saying. So that was his quest, to go to all these spiritual places and see what really works and what doesn't work. So he has firsthand knowledge. So he is in the Himalayan mountains. He's pretty famous because all these yogis like him, and they understand his energy, his pure sannyasi swami kind of energy. So they like him. So he was able to get these techniques that probably normal people wouldn't be able to get. Let's say it like that.
That's a great story. It always inspires me when I hear that story.
Yeah, truth is stranger than fiction. I couldn't make this up if I tried.
I mean, with everything I've learned, there's just so many like aspects to this spiritual aspect, what's going on in the world, and it's just like, oh my God, this really is like the greatest show on earth that could only come from the mind of God, right?
True, and the spiritual things I've had an audience and seen firsthand, it's even hard to explain with words. Like, it's this so mind blowing and so awe inspiring that you like, wow, how can I even, with these ugly, crude kind of English words I have, how can I explain this such beautiful, spiritual, enlightening thing that I've seen or experienced myself?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, even me, I can't even. I live in a 2-story house, and when I walk up the stairs, I have 3 big pictures of me going up the Himalayan mountains. So it's almost like every day I go up the stairs, I'm going up the Himalayan mountain. Every day I go down the stairs, I'm coming down the Himalayan mountains. And sometimes I just stop, like in the middle of the stairs, and just look at that, like, how did that happen? Like, I, I, I don't even, I don't even, how could I say, I can't even believe that happened. Like, how did I do that? Like, I'm not a mountain guy, or how did that come together? Like, it's almost like mind blowing to me almost every day. Like, I'm like, I, I, how did a guy like me, a regular guy, get on this path and experience all this stuff? I can't even fathom it, right? Like, it's almost like mind blowing to me every day. Like, how did that happen? Like, that, if you think with a rational mind or a logical mind, that's totally impossible, you know? Like, and the thing, it was even more better when I went up the Himalayan mountains. I felt like I was home. So I slept like a baby in a tent in the brutal Himalayan mountains. I didn't ever got better sleep in my life. I was like sleeping at my mother's house or my grandmother's house. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm here with Babaji. So like, I don't even know how that's possible. Normally you would be scared, or the elements up there are totally brutal. But I didn't care about any of that. I was just in La La Land in a blissful state the whole time. Like, ooh, look at this, Look, oh, look how high that mountain is. I don't care. We're going up it. No problem. And it wasn't like painful, or it wasn't a hard struggle either. It was a total blissful thing, and I was totally enjoying the moment as much as I can. So that was even more like, like, I wasn't scared of a tiger eating me in the Himalayan mountains, because like the story I told before, if the abominable snowman, the Himalayan Yeti, attacks us, what do we do, Baba? If the Himalayan Yeti gives us an audience and he's carrying divine power, we welcome him as our brother, and we ask him to have some chai or tea with us. We don't care if he's big and hairy, long as he loves God the same way we love God. That's all that counts. He is our brother. So, and I began to realize that if you carry like ahimsa, which is like non-violence energy, then you don't attract violence, because you don't radiate with violence. So it was a total blissful. The weather was great. They said this is probably the best weather we've ever seen in the Himalayan mountains. So my guru was like, you walk in front because you have the good weather. Babaji favors you. He clears the path for you. So a normally snowed out weather. I mean, Vedmuni went there like, I think, a year before, and he almost died. He got snowed in. So the problem with the Himalayan mountains, they have like markers, which are basically stones stacked on top of each other. So you kind of know the way, because they have like glaciers, right? And if you step wrong, you'll fall into a glacier and die, So they have these markers, but when it snows, you can't see the markers. And there's 10 million rocks. So if you step wrong, you'll twist your ankle and game over, So basically, Vedmuni had the intuition that he should go here, Satupan Lake. He tried to go by himself. He got snowed in. His feet started to turn black because they were the frostbite. So he wasn't gonna be able to walk, and he basically just said, "I'm gonna die up here if I don't do something." And he just basically, when the sun came up, tried to go as far as he could, and I guess he slept in like a cave or something, halfway down, so it's a treacherous place. Let's say it like that. There have been people who have died there. The Indian government made me sign a form that if I died up there, they weren't responsible, because it's happened before, or they weren't going to come and get me. Like, you're on your own. Like, if you go, you're on your own. We take no responsibility, right? Make sure you sign this paper. So, it was a highly unlikely thing, right? But yeah, so when I went up there, they were like, "We've never seen the weather so good. The path has been cleared," and I almost felt that way. That was kind of my agreement with Babaji, right? Like, I'll go to the Himalayan mountains, but I don't want to die there, you know? Like, I got a daughter. If clear the path, right? If I go, make sure we have good weather and the path is cleared and we have no obstacles or problems, or, you know, like I don't break my leg or something like that, you know? And Babaji held up his part of the bargain. When we came down from the Himalayan mountains, like, right as soon as we came to the base, it started to snow heavily, right? So I was like, it was almost like Babaji was like, hurry up and get down. I'm holding the weather. Okay, you're down? Cool. You know? Snow, you know? Like, the, the, the place that's at the base is called Barry Nat, right? And Barry Nat Temple, I went into one of the shops to like, I don't know how much are these mala beads or how much is this Shiva Lingam. And the guy had a picture of him up to his head in snow in front of Barry Nat Temple, which was right there. And I was like, oh, when did you take this picture? In the middle of winter? He was like, this will be in 1 week. And I was like, okay. So there's so much snow that they actually closed the city. Like, you can't go there. It's closed. It's not, it's, there's a window that you could go and there's a window that you can't go. So yeah, so when I came back, I realized, like, thank you, Babaji, for clearing the weather, because that would have not been pleasant if it wasn't for that. So that's
Yeah,
I
my
always
so
remember
Himalayan
this.
story.
I know I've heard this story before, but I always have different thoughts about it. And I was thinking, like, this was your destiny. We have free will, but it sounds like Babaji was going to get you there no matter what. And he was whispering in other people's ears, like your boss, you're going to initiate that, well, DJ domination then, but he was going to get you. He was like guiding you the whole way. It's just amazing. And that he just
And
made it happen.
that was kind of my darshan too when it happened. Like, what took you so long? You're having too much fun out here in this ego body. This is not you. I'm tired of waiting for you to get on the path. It's if you don't get on the path soon, you might be lost to reincarnation, and we're gonna start again over and over and over and over and over. You know.
Yeah.
So I just hit you with my lightning bolt, just to wake you up, because you might be lost in the sauce if you don't get on the path today. You know. So yeah, I would say that's highly probable that the path has been laid. It's been predestined that I was supposed to get on this path. So it's highly unlikely that all these pieces of the puzzle would fit together if it wasn't that way. I mean, in my perception, you know,
so I'd
some
like
people
to
might. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to tell like my little story because it's almost very similar. Like I see all the synchronicities, but not to the extreme level as yours, where like they were like waiting for you and Babaji sent you a message. But I first came across the yoga through this Russian group that had their YouTube site, and I followed all the I watched every video about everything they taught. And, I liked it, but I was not doing any physical asanas. And then later, I got divorced. And so I found myself in a new location. But in my mind, I was like, I really want to like find a yoga studio, but, not one that's just focused on the physical aspect. Because, there's a lot of those out there that they're just, all about the physical and nothing else. So I got a new path now to drive to work, and on my drive there, I saw this yoga studio, and it said yoga, healing, stuff about Thai massage and stuff. I'm like, I should stop in there, but I kept passing by, but and then I was going through some really rough stuff, and I was like very emotional, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop in there right now. So I pulled over and I went to the front door, which normally you go in through the back, so they don't really open that front door. And there just happened to be the original owner of it in there, and I knocked on the door, and she opened it, and I went in, and I started talking to her and asking her all these questions, and I kind of got emotional somehow, and like she gave me a hug and everything. And so from that day, I joined up and started going to that school. Um, and also, like in the first part where I met those Russian yogis, there was the main guy who I've posted videos, Dada Sadananda. I really kind of connected with him, so I started like I got friends with him on Facebook, and I was like, I want to like get initiated and everything, and I want to find a guru. And he was like trying to help me, but there's none like really in Texas. There's like one in New York and stuff. But anyway, so then I found out the studio, and they did the whole spiritual practice, everything, chanting and meditating. So it was just what I needed, and I started doing the physical asanas, and then I followed Chad's channel. So I kind of was searching for a guru, but I had like kind of given up on it because I tried and it didn't happen, and so then that's when you came, so I would say like it was very similar, and I see like all these synchronicities and what happened to me. And kind of my also meeting this new wife is a part of that journey, because like I kind of was terrified after just having met this girl, and we talk every day online, but for me to just like buy a ticket and having not met her, knowing that we're going to be like kind of living together like from the get-go, and I'm going to be like in a completely foreign culture, was kind of scary. And like I don't even know how I like got the nerve to just go ahead and do that, only because I had been here before with the Navy, and I was kind of familiar with the Philippines, and I knew the people. I knew they were very good and friendly people, so that kind of made me comfortable. Because if she had lived in some country that like Russia, I would have probably maybe not done it. I don't know, but so, and then kind of while I'm here also, like I'm taken completely out of my element, and I don't have any of my routines or any of my comforts, and I'm just kind of like at their mercy of what we're going to do. So I would say, that, and then also the Liz Cross thing, I was at a little crossroads right there, and I was like, universe, I don't know what to do. I'm having like, I'm very confused. And then all of a sudden the Liz Cross thing came, and I got to ask her some questions, which helped me a lot. And so yeah, it's like it's amazing, like I see all the synchronicities, and it's kind of the same story but a lesser version. And I hope that one day Babaji comes to you and says, it's time for you to take your disciples on a trip to the Himalayas.
I hope that comes too. I was telling Veronica, like, I'm entered in this thing called the SKOOL games, right? They have this thing called the SKOOL games, and they have different categories, and we're in the spiritual category, which is probably the easiest one to win. And if you win, they'll I thought it was Las Vegas, but it's Los Angeles, which is better
Okay.
for me because I like Los Angeles better.
Yeah.
But so and my brother lives in Santa Monica, so that's good. So yeah, so I've been trying to get a plan together so I could come to Los Angeles and meet everybody in person. Veronica, Cal, you, everybody. So that would be great. So hopefully that happens. But yeah, it's kind of once you get open to this stuff, like I've had experiences where I bought all this stuff in Sri Lanka, all these pictures and all these deities and all this stuff, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? And then I was just driving down the street one day, and I got the message like, stop. And I was like, okay. So I stopped. It's like, look to the left. They have a shrine kind of table where you can put all your pictures on. And I was like, no way. That ain't going to happen. I was like, all right, well, let's see. I'll go in there. Sure enough, there was a shrine that had exact amount of shelves that I needed for all my pictures. And I don't know how it happened or why it happened, but these kind of synchronicities kind of happen once you're open to them.
Veronica, how did you come to this point, would you say?
Oh. I don't know. I was always interested in spirituality, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I was not, like religion really wasn't something that I resonated to, but I always felt like there was something bigger out there. So I don't know. And I'd listen to Chad's channel, and I don't know. I was just watching it, and there was something about Vedagurudev and his enthusiasm about it, and there was just something inside of me that was just like, this is for me. So I don't know. I want to make it sound more exciting, but it just felt like this is where I need to go. So, but I think like everything in my life kind of led me up to it. I feel like when things are easy for me, it's like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I feel like I'm being guided. If I don't have to fight it, then this is what it was meant. This is where I'm meant to be. So, yeah, I feel like we're just being divinely guided.
Yeah. Go help that crazy guy, Vedagurudev. He needs your help. He has no idea what he's doing. He's feeling his way around the dark in this SKOOL platform. So he needs all the help he can get around here.
Yeah, I love this SKOOL, and I feel like my purpose, I have like a purpose now. I don't know. I've just never been so happy. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It kind of like answered like, what is my purpose? So I won't understand this till the end of my life, but I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. So
yeah, even me, like all the work I put in our school is not like work. It's fun. I enjoy it. Like you know, like, ooh, look, I'm making a thumbnail for the YouTube video, and look at this. You know, I know how to use StreamYard, and look at this, you know. So it's all it's all a blissful experience helping people. So I don't look at it as work. I enjoy it. You know, I jump out of bed every day and like, what am I gonna do today? You know, like it's gonna be great. You know, like Veronica did an interview with me yesterday, and it went great. And I don't even know how it went great. So, you know, the interview was like I don't know, 10 a.m. for me, and yesterday I was like, oh, let me see. I don't know. Okay, let's figure it out. But then the record button comes on, and I go, blah, 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 Kriya yoga, Kriya yoga, Kriya yoga, Kriya yoga for you, Kriya yoga for you, Kriya yoga. I gave myself yesterday a new name. I'm the Oprah Winfrey of Kriya yoga. Kriya yoga, you get Kriya yoga, and you get Kriya yoga, and you get Kriya yoga, you get Kriya yoga, and everybody around the world gets Kriya yoga. So I don't know how any of this happens, but I'm enjoying the ride. It's a great ride, and you know, like I can't explain how any of these pieces of the puzzle came together and how I got to this point, but I just enjoy it, and I don't really take it for granted. I'm just kind of grateful. Like when I look at all of our Kriya Yoga School members, I see myself in all of them. You know, like I had the exact same questions as all as you, and I did all the exact same stuff as you, so I really enjoy it because it's almost like a flashback to when I started. Like, oh yeah, I remember I asked that question. So I don't try to take any of this too serious. My guru always used to say, because I used to try to do the asanas as perfect as possible, and I used to get upset when I didn't do them as great as possible or whatever, the lotus position. Why won't my leg go up higher? You know, and it used to frustrate me. My guru is like, too serious. Why so serious? This is fun. This is enjoyable. We're having a good time here, you know? We're happy, you know? So like I said before, he would go past me, happy, 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 and just walk away. And I was like, yeah, you're right, you know? Like, I'm taking this too serious. So now I just enjoy the roller coaster ride wherever it takes me, and I'm having a good time, and I'm learning stuff, and everything is enjoyable, you know? Like, I remember when we started the school, like, it would take Chad like 2 weeks to upload one video, right? Because he was busy doing his stuff. So I basically said, what program do you use to edit the video? He's like, I use Filmora. And I was like, okay, I never heard of it. So I went to the store. You got Filmora for Mac? Yeah, we got Filmora. Okay, give it to me. Load it into my computer. Okay. All right, now I got Filmora. Let's figure out how to edit videos. And you really start learning by doing, right? So once I just started doing it. All right, let me put a video in here. Let me try to edit it. All right, well, that didn't look too good, but next one's going to be better, and the next one's going to be better, and soon enough I'll be off and running, and I'll figure this stuff out. So I enjoy the challenge and the adventure of trying to figure out how to work the school platform, how to get to Los Angeles and see my Kriya Yoga School members in person, how to edit videos, how to make a thumbnail for YouTube, how to figure out the algorithm, or you know, this type of stuff. I enjoy the adventure, the challenge, right? And I always think if I could sleep in a cave in the Himalayan mountains, then what can I do? So my father would tell me we're Americans, not Americans. So we figure out what we can do. We don't figure out what we can't do. So I like to do as much as possible. And I don't really like to ask other people for help if I can help it. So if I feel like editing a video and 3 a.m. in my underwear, I just go in my room and edit it. I don't have to send it to an editor or ask somebody how to do it. I know how to do it.
Yeah, so I had that great idea about the David Wilcock thing.
Yeah.
Veronica, are you familiar with David Wilcock?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Because he's very famous. He was on Ancient Aliens, like he's like, famous, and he's got a big following. And every Sunday, usually it's on Sunday, but this week it's probably delayed because he said there's a lot of windstorms because he's up in Denver, Colorado, somewhere high on top of some mountain. So I was thinking, like, those people, he's got like, sometimes the most I've seen was like 7,000 people like watching him live. And he just did the blood moon yoga. So he's kind of promoting yoga as being part of his path. And I was thinking that we should get on there and while it's doing the live stream, I'm going to make some kind of comment like, I loved your blood moon video. And I found this free Kriya yoga school, and I'm going to post a link. And I think we could gain a lot of members there. So if anybody's watching this, it's usually like 5 o'clock on Sunday, but I think it's actually going to be today. But if we can get on, watch it during the live stream, and a few of us put some posts about that, or alternatively, contact him. But he's very busy. It would probably be hard to contact him. But I was thinking he did like list his PO box and people send him stuff. So I might write him a letter if he could give a shout out to the school. But like, those are the exact type of people, and especially since he's recommending it, that I think we could gain a lot of new Kriya yogis. So that's what I'm planning on doing.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Let's do it. So yeah, send me the exact time the live stream goes, and I'll make sure I'll be on there, and I'll join you, Paul. And Veronica, if you're available, come on too.
So
I don't know exactly. Normally it's Sunday at 5 p.m. I think, but it could be at various times. But if you just go to find him on YouTube, David Wilcock, and then you'll go to live, and it'll list all the live streams that he has, and then so the time
It's on
sometimes,
YouTube, right? Same
yes.
like this? Okay. All right. Great.
I mean, if you
All
can
right.
just find that video that I sent and click on it, then you'll be able to find exactly where you can go to and turn on your subscribe, turn on your notifications and stuff like that. But I know Mariana watches it also.
Cool. Yeah. When he has the next one, I'll go on there for sure.
It might be today, because that's what he was kind of indicating on last week's episode. Because of the wind, he had to put it off, and I think it might be today. But as soon as I get off of here, I'm gonna go check and see if he's got it listed yet. But
yeah, if you see he's going on today, send me the link, and
I will do that.
I'll make sure I be on there.
Yeah, the idea got whispered to you, so maybe that's what we're supposed to do.
It did. It came to me. It's like, oh, Blood Moon. Oh, this is the perfect place to like promote our school. You know. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We need that one kind of push to get us over the top, if you know what I'm saying. So
yeah,
if he resonates with yoga and he could give us a shout out, that'd be big. And plus, it's free too, so it's no friction. You know,
exactly.
Come in our free school, kriyayogamasterclass.com, and enjoy practicing Kriya yoga. Free.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they have a big audience, and those people will probably be interested in it. So yeah,
True.
Win-win.
Can't hurt to try.
Yeah.
It never can hurt, right? My mother used to say, shoot for the stars, maybe you hit the moon.
Right. Zach, you want to do Babaji?
No.
He's too shy to do Babaji mantra in front of us right now.
Don't be shy.
I'm working on him.
Does he ever do it?
Yeah.
With you? Okay.
And he can also sit in full lotus position.
Nice.
His body's, limber enough.
Yeah.
So when they're young, so I will be taking him down the path along with me.
Outstanding.
And that might be one of the main reasons that I got, that I'm where I am right now. I think, I think it's a bonus that there's a child involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Start them young. Best practice. Right?
Right. If I had started when I was young, I wouldn't have all these problems with my back and my shoulders and,
True.
But hopefully, it's feeling a lot better than it has in the past. And, I can work my way through it just like you did, Vedagurudev. If you can do it, anybody can do it.
If I can do it, you can do it. For sure.
So how long are you going to be in the Philippines, Paul?
Oh, actually, today is my second. I'll be leaving tomorrow evening at around 11:30. I'll be getting on a plane to Korea, then from Korea back home.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I've got piles of stuff just stacked up there, that I'm like, I've got to meditate just to, not let that affect me, because there's just so much I have to do. Taxes are due, and I haven't even done a lick on that, and it's, April 15th, and there's, just bunches of stuff.
Yeah.
And my eyes are they need shots again. My vision's kind of janky right now, but hopefully I can, heal that as well. That's one of those things that they've said, no, that this is an incurable condition. You'll need these shots for the rest of your life. And I just watched another video, one I like. It's called Patriot Underground, and he had a guest on and told his story about how he's young. He's only like 30 some odd years old, and he started to have heart failure, and then he got like all this water in his body. Like, I don't know how that happens, but just water buildup. And then it was during COVID. He went to hospitals, and they say, you've got to take the vax, or you've got to get tested, or he didn't want to do that. So they sent him home. They're like, you either do that or you're going home. And, that's where the whole big conspiracy thing came out, where the doctors are getting paid extra to give shots, give the test, and anybody who dies from it, and they certify that they died from that, they get like $30,000 or something like that. So, it was horrible, his story. But in the end, through mysterious circumstances, he found a doctor that, without even seeing him, sent him this type of beta blocker drug that was able to like drain out the water. But they said his heart could not come back. He needed a heart transplant, but his heart came back, and that was his story. And it was like amazing.
Great. Excellent.
And then
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know. I was just thinking like when our words are like casting a spell, and like water, I don't know, like if you talk nicely to the water, they've shown that the water makes beautiful shapes. So maybe, you can heal yourself with just saying beautiful things to yourself. Like, my eyes are going to heal. I have perfect vision. And, it's worth a shot. Just be like, talk to yourself that you're healed, Paul, and that you have, everything's working perfectly. You have the best vision ever. I just wonder, don't listen to the doctors telling you that, negative things. I wonder if that might help you.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to disregard what they say,
Yeah.
And I told my doctor, I said, I'm going to try this, but like my ultimate goal is to be free of, these shots. And, he agreed with me, but then I had that little incident with him, which kind of broke my confidence, because, my cornea got scratched, and then he made the comment, "Oh, I was nowhere near there." So like, refusing to accept responsibility that this happened in his office, and I noticed he was having trouble getting the little eyeball spreader in, and that's probably when it happened. And then I was like, how do I deal with this? Like, am I going to start a confrontation with him, But, I decided that's not going to be the best route. I'm just going to I'm just really not going to say anything about it and go on, because I don't want to create any animosity between us, and I just know if I say that, it's just going to make matters worse. I would have just accepted it if he just said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Paul, like, I don't know how that happened, but I'll make sure to be more careful," whatever, but just accept responsibility, But so I didn't really like that. So
Yeah,
and
maybe
I've been struggling to get this new drug, I don't know what the problem is. It's like they've ordered it, and I'm not making any headway with that. So I'm going to have to try to continue with that, and I don't know, but I want the new drug that was designed specifically for this eye condition, because they're giving me the cheapest possible drug, and it's not like giving me the results that I'm looking for, It might be like making it to not get any worse, but it's certainly not really getting any better. So anyway, I would put that
could you get a different doctor? Is that possible?
I could, but it's a big ordeal, and the location of his office is very convenient. I do like the staff, and generally I like the doctor. I just what happened kind of just like gave me a little thing, but I mean, that is a possibility. It would just take some work on my part. But yeah, I
Yeah.
could do that, but I have no guarantee that doctor, the same thing wouldn't happen. But I might go that route if I can't make any headway on getting the new drug in his office. Yeah.
Or maybe just forgive the doctor. Just like forgive him. Maybe that would lift things for you.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, that might like lift the energy for you. You never know.
Sure.
Yeah.
They
I don't
do
know,
say
people.
forgiveness is the key. Forgive ourselves and forgive everybody else that we think has harmed us.
Yeah, and I think it would be healing for you just to like forgive him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
I don't know,
can't.
our egos don't like to admit when we make a mistake. So maybe that's what's
Exactly.
going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So
True.
I don't know, Vedagurudev, I had a question for you. I was thinking it when you were talking about your story getting initiated. Um, so when you were a disciple for a while with your guru, right? Or would you consider yourself a disciple or
Yeah, I would consider myself
okay.
a devotee, disciple. Yeah,
So
sadhak.
do you still consider yourself a disciple to your guru, or are you guys like now colleagues, or has the relationship changed? Are you still
No, no, I still consider myself as a disciple or a
yeah,
sadhak or a kriya to my guru, devotee. So I don't.
yeah.
I see him more higher than me. Let's say it like that. No
Oh
matter how
wow.
much progress I make on the spiritual path, he is still higher up than me. Let's say it like that.
Yeah, I was thinking you
I'm
probably have such a bond with your guru that like you would always want to help him and
yeah,
always be there for
yeah, for
him.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, going back to the David Wilcock thing and reincarnation, he believes he was the reincarnation of this guy called Edgar Casey, who was like a famous prophet back in the 1900s. He was like a
Mm.
prophet and healer, and so he did some mystical stuff also. And like he showed this side by side picture of his face. I like it's almost identical. I mean, it's
Mm.
amazing. If you watch, I think it was in the Blood Moon Yoga one, but it's 5 hours long, so not everybody has the time like I do to just sit there for 5 hours and watch everything. But comparing it also, to Vedagurudev and that picture around the fire, and he
Mm.
looks like that guy. So I would say that's true. So. And he also did Archangel Michael,
Mm.
that's who he had been channeling also, the David Wilcock. So
Cool.
it's kind of similar.
What did Archangel Michael say when he channeled him?
Oh, he wrote like a bunch of books. It's like kind of prophecy about what's going on in the earth. So
Mm.
that's the whole thing, they're talking about this prophecy that's gonna come forth, which it's a good story, like you say, but no one really knows what's going to happen, but they think there's going to be a solar event or some type of event that is going to happen that is going to elevate the people that are at least 51% good, to like a higher level, let's say, all of
Mm.
humanity, and it's going to lead to the next golden age, and the disclosure of all the technologies that are being withheld and everything like that. So he goes into all linking what he, because when he was in touch with Archangel Michael and got all these readings, that was like back in the like 2000s, and so he's like relating that to what's going on in the world at this time. So, and like things that he Archangel Michael had told him that have already come to pass, basically, and like it's pretty uncanny. So I like to watch it and just see what they have to say. But yeah, I do. I have a feeling something's going to happen very shortly, and just that President Trump did win. The election. It's kind of like amazing, because a lot of people didn't think he was going to, and in that case, I think there would have been, because I do believe the election was stolen, the last one, and I think there would have been some type of military coup, played out if by chance Harris had won the election, but fortunately that did not. Like, I think all the best things, the least disruptive things, have come to pass, because that would have been very disruptive. It might have created civil war, and so yeah, I think everything's going the least negative way. The way that is the best for the people, that will cause the least bloodshed and the least amount of disharmony. And I think that, like, they're carefully playing this out. It's like a game of 3D chess. The president knows all this, and he has to create a certain optics with the public. So everything he says, some of it may sound like, oh, that doesn't sound like the right thing, but sometimes he just has to play along, play the game, so to speak. But beneath the surface of all the optics, I kind of know what's going on, that there's like a force of good that is trying to undo all the evil that has been, that has taken place. And like, yeah. So, and going back to like the gold standard, like, they can't just like keep printing out money, and like the Fed isn't even, they call it the Fed, so it sounds like it's a part of the government, but no, it's just a group of outside bankers, and they're pulling the strings. So we have to go back to the gold standard, where the money is actually supported by something and not just created out of debt. So
Yeah.
I think that's happening, and I'm excited about it.
I don't know. Vedagurudev, what is your prediction for Kriya Yoga in the future? I want a good prediction.
I mean, I have a biased prediction because I'm a Kriya yogi, so
Yeah.
the collective consciousness around the world, everybody starts to wake up and realize that the liars tell lies, and they should write their own story and do their own inner work and be the best person they could be collectively in the present moment. So, I mean, for Kriya Yoga, I hope what Babaji says to Lahiri Messiah is true. Give Kriya Yoga to the world. So, help as many people with Kriya Yoga, help them overcome what they're going through, and give them some tools to integrate into their daily life and navigate through their daily life and be the best Kriya Yogi they could be in the present moment. So, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Kriya Yoga. Whatever practice helps uplift you and helps you be a more loving, kind soul out here in this 3D physical world, just be the best person you could be and resonate with the God that uplifts you the most. It doesn't necessarily have to be Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is not for everybody, but it could be whatever practice makes you feel the best and resonates with you and gets you through the day. Whatever name you call the source or call God, it's all going to the same place. So cultivate, enhance whatever practice you have, and be a compassionate person, a loving person, a giving person, a forgiving person. So just be the best person you could be in the present moment, and hopefully collectively we could all get out of this darkness and shed some light on the darkness and be a guiding kind of lighthouse light, bringing the ships into the shore, if you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
in the storm of this massive darkness and delusion out here. So come home to Kriya Yoga, or come home to whatever God you believe in, but definitely have some kind of tools or some kind of spiritual practice to help you navigate this external delusional Maya world, because it's crazy out here in these streets. So do the best you can, and if you want to learn Kriya Yoga for free, freekriyayogamasterclass.com. We'll help you for free. We'll give you some tools to help navigate this crazy Maya delusional world out here. But it's a war zone. It's a minefield. It's a constant bombardment on your consciousness. So have some tools to help you overcome. And don't let, like I said before, don't let other people's perception of God become your perception. Figure it out, test it, experience it, know it, see what works best for you in the present moment. And that would probably be my best advice out here. But I don't have all the answers, or nor do I claim to. So, just whatever resonates with you, cultivate and enhance that. And you should be fine out here. Everything's going to be okay. And just kind of become the detached witness, step back from the TV, and just get your popcorn and watch the comedy show for what it is, like it's the WWE wrestling out here, if you know what I'm saying. It's predetermined, and you can't get attached to any outcome. You just get your popcorn and say, "Oh, look at that! The Rock body slammed the Undertaker," or whatever, So you don't get attached to it. You don't get emotional about what happens. It's this comedy show on the stage of life out here. So
yeah, I feel like people are going. Yeah, go on.
Watch the monkey ride his tricycle around the circus. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it just seems like people are resonating more with like spirituality. It's like I don't need to go outside of myself. Everything I need is within myself. The more people are meditating. So I'd like to see more meditation in schools. But it's like you have the tools to heal yourself, and like, maybe your closet can be, go in your closet, or I don't know.
I mean, that would be beautiful to have meditation in school, like a morning meditation, or before you go home, meditation, 10 minutes. It don't have to be nothing super long, but I think that would be great. And that would be giving children real tools to navigate life. If you could realize that you could just meditate and overcome whatever you're going through in the present moment, there'd probably be less people in jail, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Take a moment.
Sometimes you just need to take a moment and see it's not worth it, right? Don't throw it all away for a split-second decision, If there are probably a lot of people in jail, if they just counted to 10 and breathed, they probably wouldn't have made that split-second decision. So meditation would be good for jail also.
Yeah.
Just meditate.
Teach. Yeah. Just meditate.
Yeah, just meditate and realize it's not worth throwing your life away for a split-second decision. Breathe, and this is more of an ego play, like he can't talk to me that way, or he can't treat me this way, or whatever. Just walk away and live to fight another day, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Meditate, just breathe. None of this is worth being in a cage, let's say it like that. So don't do it to yourself. Just breathe, detach, let it go. It's not worth it.
Yeah, there's so many great techniques in the school. Like I was just thinking, like in school, you could like do the Tratak method for kids and just have them stare at a candle, like learn concentration. So I don't know, that's good for everybody. But
Yeah, absolutely. Focus, concentration, just track, focusing on a candle flame or focusing on any bindu point of focus,
yeah,
it'll definitely get you, you'll definitely live a better, more focused, less distracted life. My guru used to say our whole life we've been collecting, we're masters of distraction.
yes,
So now we got to kind of reel that back and kind of dissolve all those distractions, right? We become a master of distraction, but a beginner in meditating. So become a master of meditating and a beginner of distractions, or detaching from all the distractions out here. That throw away all the trash you collected your whole life. It doesn't serve you anymore in the present moment. So all these distractions or all these things you think you need to know about, you really doesn't serve you in the present moment. My example is I don't really need to know what Kim Kardashian wore to the Grammys. It doesn't serve me in the present moment.
yeah. No, we a lot of people focus on fears, and it's just like it's not happened yet, but we're focusing on these things that haven't happened.
Mm,
I
yeah.
I don't know. What would you say to people that are afraid of death to make it less scary for them?
I would say, well, first of all, Babaji said in the voice of Babaji, death is a joke to me. I am the death of death. So you shouldn't fear death, because my guru I asked him one time, Baba, what do you think about death? How can I overcome death? He said, I wouldn't even think about it. On the right day, at the right time, in the right year, your time will come, and just enjoy that golden flight. Don't even think about it. We're yogis. We are fearless. We don't fear anything. End of the world, death. We kind of laugh at it like the joke it is. Like the mantra that Shiva Angi sang so beautiful, Maha Mrityunjaya, is basically means like overcoming death. The fruit of your soul is detaching from the branch of the tree, right? So all these yogis kind of welcome death. It's almost like a homecoming. They call it taking the divine flight, moksha, liberation from this flesh cage, this physical meat suit that holds your soul. So they always have these songs about overcoming death, and they welcome death, and they're like, finally I'm getting to go home.
Yeah.
I've seen enough. I've
Ah,
seen enough. I've spent my time in this horror show for long enough. I want to go back and be in a blissful, positive state, wherever that is, whatever timeline that is. So they have all these great songs overcoming death. So I wouldn't think about it. I would
yeah.
just let it happen. It'll happen at the right time, at the exact time it needs to happen. So, like we've been talking about all these synchronicities, when that time comes, I welcome it with open arms. Most of these yogis, they look for the time when they can go into what's called Mahasamadhi, right? Which they choose the time that they want to transcend their body. Yogananda is a perfect example of this, and they just welcome it. It's basically taking the divine flight. The ultimate goal of liberation from this physical meat suit, this flesh cage, moksha. So they look for that liberation. So it's almost not a fearful thing, but a blissful, pleasant visualization when that time comes. So
Yeah.
I welcome it with open arms. I travel light. I have no baggage, so nothing to carry. Just there was a great story. I forget which book it was in, but this event they say happened in the Himalayan mountains where I was at. So basically, Arjuna, I think it was Arjuna. Arjuna, from the Bhagavad Gita, who talked to Krishna, he decided he didn't want to live no more, so he took off all his armor, threw it down, and just walked till he couldn't walk no more into the snow and reached moksha. But along his travel, a dog came walking with him, and when it came time for moksha, he said, I don't want moksha. I only want moksha if my dog can be granted moksha too. So him and his dog took the golden flight of liberation and moksha, walking
Oh,
into the snow in the Himalayan mountains. So that was a beautiful story, I thought also, you know.
yeah,
I'll go, but my dog comes with me.
yeah,
Okay, we take your dog too. All right, let's go. Let's take the divine flight, right? So I enjoy seeing the dog in the golden airplane sitting next to Arjuna flying into moksha and liberation.
yeah. His best friend came with him.
His best friend joined him on the moksha flight, the divine golden flight.
Well, how we're here to be happy. I was thinking, Kriya Yoga, you practice it sincerely. I think it could give you the ingredients, inspiration to give you a good life. I don't know, a life to be proud of. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's happening. Just being sincere with my sadhana. Just even like the meditation and the breathing. I don't know, going within and just slowing down would
Yeah,
be very
absolutely.
helpful.
Put my feet down a second.
Yeah, be happy. Relax.
Be happy. He, even Vedagurudev has to put his feet down sometimes.
Yeah. The pain's blocking your happiness.
Yeah. Windshield wipers, windshield wipers.
Yeah, I
Well, I
did
feel
watch.
like
Oh, yeah,
no,
I
go
did
ahead. Go
watch.
ahead.
Sorry, I did watch the video with Shiva Angi with that mantra. What'd you call it?
Maha Marit right?
Yeah,
That was a good one, right?
yeah. So I watched it and I tried to write down because I wanted to like use that in part of my practice. So I slowly like slowed it down so I could get each word. But I recognized from a mantra I was taught in my yoga school some of the words like Marit your ma, or I think that is like something about death there, taking
Right.
from death to eternal life, something like
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
um
that's what it means.
yeah, so,
Overcoming death, yeah.
so
Uh
yeah, I really like that one.
yeah. That one also I edited. It's probably like 5 days ago in on Vedagurudev. So it has the whole 108 times in there. It's just the mantra. I think it says Mahamarit Unja. So if you see the thumbnail, you'll see it on there.
Yeah,
It's on the at Vedagurudev channel. Yeah, but that's a good one. That's my favorite actually. Like when I was uploading that one, I was like, yeah, this this one I really like, you know?
yeah, and
Yeah.
she does sing it beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautifully saying, yeah.
It's nice to have an Indian person that knows exactly how to pronounce everything perfectly.
Right.
So
Yeah, they have the right sound syllables and the right pronunciation. So yeah, it's good.
Well, I have to get to bed, but I have like a one last question, I think. What are some ways to like remove like negative energy from your home? Or yeah, make the energy more positive in your home.
I mean, they have a lot of these techniques. Like some people use sage, they burn sage, or some people, the yagna is definitely a definite way to like burn away negative kind of energies and negative kind of spiritual energy. I would say like just by doing your sadhana, you create like a kind of force field around your home, and you create positive energy that people who have bad intentions aren't gonna come around. It's almost like stinks to them. It's trash. Like I'm not gonna go to this house because this house has good energy. I want to go to a easy target house where they're not self-realized or they're not vibrating on a higher frequency, you know? And if negative energy comes, you look for you enjoy the dance. Like I got all these kriyas, I got all these techniques. I've been waiting for you, you know? But they usually never come, let's say. So, or they
That's what,
realize when it's too late that they shouldn't have came to this place, you know? What were you gonna
that's
say,
interesting.
Paul?
It was interesting that you asked that question because in the Blood Moon Yoga video from David Wilcock, he was also involved way back when. I don't know if you've heard of the Law of One, but
Mm.
it was they had this one channeler, and she was channeling this being called Ra, and he like gave forth all this almost like the Michael prophecies that David Wilcock wrote, but they wrote this big thing. But there was this house that they went to, they bought for this purpose, but there was a dead rat there, and the woman like felt some kind of bad presence in that house. She was attuned to that type of thing, and he said that that evil or the devil or whatever demons, they like the rotting flesh and stuff like that, and they went into that mouse, and that's how they can kind of gain entrance. But so yeah, as Vedaguru said about the burning of the incense, he said it's very important, cleanliness, to like keep your house
Mm.
clean, because evil likes dirt, and that's where it
Mm.
will
Yeah.
reside and find a home. So yeah, the burning of the incense. I also heard a thing where you can surround your house with like a circle of salt, so just little intentions. But yeah, I smudge my house. I've got one called Palo Santo.
Yeah, the wood.
Very very nice wood. It has a really nice scent, and I'll every once in a while clean my house, and then I'll go around with my into every room with my Palo Santo, and clear out any bad energy, and then just do my Cavatum shield and kind of just put a shield around myself and my house and everything, and tell evil that it's not welcome here, negative energy. So,
True. Evil is not welcome. God is always welcome.
right.
Yeah, having a clean house, it does make me feel good. It kind of puts a skip in my step. I've noticed, like, yeah, like my energy's better when the house is clean.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have. I feel like we had a really good conversation around the fire. So,
Yes, I agree. It was great. And
yeah.
my lunch is almost ready as well. So,
Okay. Yeah, I think we're all blissed out with that, Guru Dev. Did you have anything you wanted to add or questions?
Okay, well, if you resonate with the paths of Kriya Yoga, join our free Kriya Yoga school, freekriyayoga.com. Hopefully, David Wilcox shines some light on us, and we can get some more members and fill up those Kriya Yoga cups with some Kriya Yoga juice out here. And yeah, today we did the satsang a day earlier, but next week we'll be back to regular scheduled programming. So and we'll do our 56th class this week. I'll add the technique Babaji Sanyama in our class, so that'd
Yeah.
be a good one. That's a good idea. And yeah, just stay blissful out there, stay happy, and be the best person you can be, and spread love as much as you can all around the world.
Sounds good.
Vedagurudev out.
Peace out.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Kriya Babaji Namo. Kriya Babaji Namo. Kriya Babaji Namo. Kriya Babaji Namo. Kriya Babaji